Chapter 1036, a saying comes true at this point. Mothers Wu grudgingly raised 3 fingers. Fine, I swear. Seeing his mother had sworn the oath, Zhuoling then handed the knife to her. Taking the fruit knife, Mother Zhuo felt a sigh of relief. Zhuoling continued, Mom, don't worry, Xiaoxi is a very good girl. She will take good care of you and Dad in the future. Mother Zhuo sighed, what's the use of being filial? She can't even give birth to a son. Our Zhuo family will be ruined by that woman. And who knows whether she's genuinely filial or just pretending. How filial can someone be who's bewitched her own son into threatening his parents with his life? Mother Zhuo was now seething with suppressed anger. Just wait. Once that little bitch Shengguan she marries into our family, shall see how I'll deal with her. Zhuoling said with a smile, Mom, don't worry. After we get married, I'll have Xiaoxi quit her job to take care of you two at home, and then we can have 2 children. I guarantee every single one of them will be a boy. You guarantee? Mother Zhuo looked at Zhuoling, trying to suppress the fury in her heart. You talk nicely, but what can you guarantee with? You must have been bewitched by that woman. It's not like you can just say it and it happens. People like Shengguan Shi, you can just tell she won't give birth to a son. Zhuoling said with a smile, nowadays, with the advancement of science and technology, as long as one is 5 months pregnant, you can find out the gender of the baby. When Xiaoxi is pregnant, well, go to the hospital to check. If it's a girl, we just abort it, right? In the 1980s, ultrasound was popular due to family planning reasons, and many families would go to unlicensed clinics to check the gender of the fetus during pregnancy. If it was a girl, they would abort it; if a boy, they would keep it. This laid a severe foreshadowing for the unbalanced gender ratio in later generations. Why would the dowry prices skyrocket in the future? Because there are fewer and fewer girls and more boys. Hearing this, Mother Zhuo's eyes lit up. Really? Zhuoling nodded. Would I lie to you? Mother Zhuo asked, how do you know this? Our co-worker Xiaosun just ended up with a big fat boy. Didn't his wife first give birth to a little girl? I heard they aborted 5 times before finally having a boy. They had a son, but the daughter-in-law's health was destroyed. But compared to a son, what's a daughter-in-law worth? If a woman divorces, she won't have a good reputation, but if a man's wife dies, he can still remarry. Mother Zhuo was still a bit uneasy. Are you so certain that Shengguan Shi will agree to the abortion? Zhuoling said with a smile, once she's married into the Zhuo family, she'll belong to our household, and by then, she won't have a say in the matter. That's also true. Mother Zhuo nodded in satisfaction. As she finished speaking, Mother Zhuo continued, it's just that her family background is somewhat inferior. Honestly, I think Lai Bao is better. That kid Lai Bao. Mother Zhuo hadn't finished her sentence before Zhuoling interrupted her. Mom, please don't bring up that Chen Lai Bao again. Looking at someone like that just annoys me. I'm going back to my room to rest. Mother Zhuo watched Zhuoling's retreating back inside. Alright, don't be angry, Father Zhuo said. I think Lingling has gotten quite thinner these days. Don't we still have Bird's Nest at home? Go stew some to nourish him. Compared to getting angry, of course, their son's health was more important. Mother Zhuo hurried to the kitchen to stew Bird's Nest. At the Ni family. During dinner, Shengguan Shi announced to her family the news of Zhuoling's marriage proposal. Upon hearing this, there was a silence at the dinner table. Ni Zuhua looked at Shengguan Shi in surprise. Xiaoxi, you agreed? Shengguan Shi nodded. I think Zhuoling is a very good young man, so I agreed. She had not agreed to Zhuoling impulsively. She and Zhuoling had 3 years of emotional foundation, and now agreeing to the marriage proposal felt natural. Ni Yang looked up at Shengguan Shi. Sister Xiaoxi, with what did Zhuoling propose to you? Ni Yang was a bit afraid that Zhuoling had been a freeloader. Of course, a proposal can't be without a ring, Shengguan Shi replied. This answer was indeed beyond Ni Yang's expectation. It seemed that Zhuo Ling's character wasn't as bad as she had imagined. At least he used a ring to propose. She was really afraid that Zhuo Ling couldn't escape the nature of a scumbag and would resort to freeloading. What kind of ring is it? Show us, old lady Shangguan said somewhat discontentedly. Shangguan, she said with a smile, a very unique ring. Shangguan, she was not a materialistic girl to begin with, and she hadn't suffered when she was younger. She thought that the straw ring given by Zhuo Ling embodied the love mentioned in books. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know to report so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 1037, A Saying Comes True _2. Unique? This statement really whetted everyone's appetite. Shangguan Su looked at Shangguan Shi. Could it be a pigeon's egg? Bigger than the one Dad gave Mom? When Shangguan Dehui proposed to Ni Tsuehua, he did buy a sizable diamond ring. Shangguan Shi said speechlessly, "Brother, you're so tacky." As she finished speaking, Shangguan Shi took out a ring woven from wild grass from her pocket. "This is the engagement ring Zhuo Ling gave me." Upon seeing this, Shangguan Su almost spat out the soup he had just swallowed. A ring made of grass. No one expected Zhuo Ling's engagement ring to be a grass-woven ring. Even Ni Yang was taken aback. She had thought that Zhuo Ling wasn't someone to bluff his way through, but it turned out he couldn't escape his scoundrel nature. Given Zhuo Ling's family background, even if he couldn't afford a pigeon's egg, he should have at least bought one made of gold. After all, Zhuo Ling was a minor official with a monthly salary of over 100 yuan. With the current cheap gold prices, 2 months' salary was enough to buy a very respectable gold ring. But Zhuo Ling didn't. This showed that Zhuo Ling didn't take Shangguan Shi to heart at all. He was deceiving Shangguan Shi, perhaps he just wanted to trick her into his grasp. Such a trifle fooled you? Shangguan Su picked up the ring in Shangguan Zai's hand, his face filled with incredulous laughter. Shangguan Shi seriously said, "Perhaps in your eyes, this is just worthless wild grass, but to me, it represents Zhuo Ling's true heart. His sincerity is priceless." Zhuo Ling's sincerity couldn't be measured with money. Ni Yang nodded slightly. "Yeah, true love is priceless, I agree with Sister Xiaoxi." Yang? Ni Tsuhua looked at Ni Yang in surprise. Shangguan Shi smiled and said, Yang, you understand me." Ni Yang held a high status in the family, and with her approval, Shangguan Shi felt much more confident. But Sister Xiaoxi, the phrase true love is priceless also depends on the situation, Ni Yang continued. For instance, if someone comes from a poor background and has only 1 yuan but gives it all to you, and would do anything for you, that is true love. But if someone obviously has 100 yuan and isn't even willing to give you one, that's not true love, that's just taking advantage of you. In Ni Yang's eyes, family background wasn't the issue. What mattered was character. As long as the Zhuo family had good character and Zhuo Ling was truly sincere towards Shangguan Shi, everything else wasn't a problem. But now, Zhuo Ling was merely putting on an act for Shangguan Shi. Hearing this, Shangguan Shi was stunned. She had been immersed in love and had never considered this issue. Could it be that Zhuo Ling was really just acting? It surely wasn't. Shangguan Dehui nodded. "I think Yang is right. Xiaoxi, it's clear from this proposal issue that Zhuo Ling is not sincere towards you." Old lady Shangguan also nodded in agreement. "I also think Yang is right. Zhuo Ling is just trying to take advantage of you, who uses a grass-woven ring for a proposal? You guys aren't playing house as kids. What era is this to use a blade of grass to take a wife? Even decades ago, this wasn't done." Old lady Zheng added, "Xiaoxi, you're not married yet and Zhuo Ling is already daring to deceive you like this. What will happen after marriage? Will he still regard you as a person?" Shangguan Shi fell silent, not saying a word. Shangguan Shi, snap out of it. Don't let love blind you. That pretty boy Zuoling is not worthy of my sister. Shangguan Su flicked Shangguan Zai's forehead. Shangguan Zai's originally delightful mood was now washed away, leaving her somewhat depressed as she poked at the rice in her bowl. Saying less is more, as saying too much can backfire. Seeing Shangguan Shi like this, everyone else fell silent. It was just a precautionary shot for Shangguan Shi to brace herself mentally, so she wouldn't be overwhelmed by the truth when it came out. Meanwhile, at the Zuo family's home, Mother Zuo brought Zuoling a bowl of bird's nest soup. Zuoling sat up from his bed. "Mom, where did this bird's nest come from?" Their family was decently off, but bird's nest was still a bit extravagant. "It was given by Lai Bao a few days ago," Mother Zuo said. "I just finished cooking it, eat it while it's hot." Zuoling received the bowl with both hands and tasted it. "It's quite fragrant." "Could bird's nest not be fragrant?" Mother Zuo continued, "I tell you, Lai Bao is a good girl, her family has money, and her parents are still young, they can earn for many more years. If she marries into our family, not to mention bird's nest, even if you wanted dragon meat from the heavens, Lai Bao would find a way to buy it for you. Look at what Shangguan Shi brought last time she visited our home, was she even half as sensible as Lai Bao? Bringing such cheap things on her first visit. How did her parents even raise her?" Upon hearing this, Zuoling placed the bowl on the bedstand. "I am eating. Can't you give it a rest? Blabbering on, it's so annoying. Mentioning that Chen Lai Bao just ruins my appetite, I can't eat." Mother Zuo, looking anxious, said, all right, I won't speak of it anymore, just eat." Mother Zuo then picked up the bowl of bird's nest again. After Zuoling finished the bird's nest, Mother Zuo added, "Did I hear that you proposed to Shangguan Shi? How did you propose? You didn't borrow money from someone, did you? Where would Zuoling get money for an engagement ring since he handed over his monthly salary to her?" Zuoling laughed, "Don't worry, your son is so outstanding, I didn't need a ring to propose, I won Shangguan Shi over with just a wildflower." "Really?" Mother Zuo looked incredulous. "Absolutely." Zuoling boasted proudly, "You should see who your son is." Mother Zuo spoke again, "That's true, thinking about Shangguan Zai's situation, she must be dying to pay you instead, getting a wildflower from you is already good enough. How could she even dream of anything else? Not to mention Chen Lai Bao, the Chen family's circumstances are certainly not poor, and yet Chen Lai Bao is still looking to win over Zuoling. Who would blame her son for being competent? If Shangguan Shi was capable, she'd have men paying her instead." Zuoling then asked, "By the way, Mom, where did you store the leftover bird's nest?" "I placed it on the cabinet." "Okay." Zuoling nodded. The next morning, while Mother and Father Zuo were out for a walk, Zuoling secretly packed the remaining bird's nest into his bag and took it with him. Due to last night's ordeal, Shangguan Shi hadn't slept well and looked rather worn out by morning. During lunch, Zuoling asked with concern, "Xiaoxi, what's wrong? Didn't you sleep well last night?" Shangguan Shi shook her head, "It's nothing." Zuoling held Shangguan Zai's hand and continued, "By the way, Xiaoxi, have you told your uncle and aunt about us yet?" Shangguan Shi shook her head, "Not yet, I think it's too soon. We've only just met the parents, should we rush into marriage?" Shangguan Shi was very hesitant, she really liked Zuoling, but she feared he was just appeasing her. What would she do if everyone's words turned out to be prophetic? "Xiaoxi, we've known each other for 3 years. Don't you trust me yet? Or has someone been setting you against me? I hate to say it, but your family situation is really complicated, with stepmothers, stepsisters, and 2 elderly folks unrelated to you by blood. Xiaoxi, you're so kind, I worry they might deceive you. No one's stirring anything up, I just think it's too soon. They are all my family, they wouldn't deceive me." Shangguan Shi never considered Ni Tsuehua and the others as strangers. Zuoling sighed, "Xiaoxi, you are too kind. By the way, I have something for you, guess what it is?" "What is it?" asked Shengguan Shi. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know to report so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 1038, Rather Starve to Death. Zhuo Ling chuckled and said, guess. What is it, really? Shengguan Shi was very curious. Could it be that Zhuo Ling had bought her a ring? Zhuo Ling took out the box he had prepared earlier. Seeing what was inside the box, Shengguan Shi was stunned for a moment. Bird's nest. Zhuo Ling nodded, yes, it's bird's nest. Bird's nest is a great thing, especially good for girls. Not only does it have beautifying effects, but it also nourishes and tonifies the lungs. I was actually thinking of buying you a ring, but then I thought, a ring is just for show and not really practical. It'd be better to improve your health, so I used the money for the ring to ask a friend to buy it from abroad. Zhuo Ling's skill at deceit was profound. He could lie without batting an eyelid, making it seem as if the bird's nest really was something he had asked someone to buy abroad. He seemed to have completely forgotten who the real owner of this bird's nest was. Really? Shengguan Shi was taken aback for a moment, not knowing quite how to feel. Last night, she hadn't slept at all because of the ring, and now it turned out that things weren't at all what she had imagined. So Zhuo Ling had her best interests at heart. She had misunderstood Zhuo Ling. For a moment, the look Shengguan Shi gave Zhuo Ling was filled with guilt. She felt she really owed Zhuo Ling an apology. Zhuo Ling was so good to her, yet she had doubted him. Zhuo Ling smiled and said, I specially bought it for you, how could it be fake? Thank you, Zhuo Ling. Shengguan's eyes reddened slightly as she embraced Zhuo Ling. Silly girl, there's no need to be polite with me. Zhuo Ling felt very pleased with himself. Over at the Zhuo family, Zhuo's mother was chatting with the neighbors about Zhuo Ling's marriage proposal. Your Ling Ling must have spent quite a bit of money on the proposal, right? When my son proposed, he spent over 200 yuan on a ring, and that doesn't even include the bride price. Upon this topic, Zhuo's mother's face beamed with pride. Not at all, our Ling Ling didn't spend a penny. Really? Everyone expressed their doubts. Zhuo's mother continued, would I lie to you? The girl really likes our Ling Ling, she virtually wants to pay dowry to us. How could she dare to let our Ling Ling spend a penny? What if our Ling Ling doesn't want her anymore? As these words were spoken, who wouldn't envy Zhuo's mother? How could she be so capable? To have such an outstanding son. Is Ling Ling's girlfriend the one who came last time? The tall, thin one? Yes, Zhuo's mother nodded, that's her. Aunt Wu, you've seen her, right? I saw her last time she came over. The girl is very pretty. In her heart, Aunt Wu thought that while the girl was pretty, she seemed a bit simple-minded. Otherwise, why would she fall for Zhuo Ling? Zhuo's mother's smile was so broad it nearly stretched ear to ear. What's the use of being pretty? To tell you the truth, I actually prefer Chen Liebao. Speak of the devil, and he shall appear. Mama Ling, look who's coming. Aunt Wu pointed in the direction of the street corner. Zhuo's mother turned her head to look, only to see the person walking towards them, laden with large and small packages, was none other than Chen Liebao. I won't keep you, I need to greet our future daughter-in-law. Zhuo's mother deliberately raised her voice when she said, future daughter-in-law, because only in this way could Chen Liebao hear her. Chen Liebao did hear her and was delighted, which motivated her to carry the parcels to the Zhuo family's home. Auntie. Chen Liebao was truly very plump, to the point that Zhuo's mother seemed almost non-existent next to her. Even a slight stomp of her foot gave the sensation of an earthquake. Zhuo's mother kindly said, Liebao has come. Don't tire yourself, let auntie carry those for you. Beads of sweat pooled on Chen Libao's forehead as she panted heavily, no need, auntie. I can carry them myself. They're too heavy for you to lift. Zhuo's mother said, you're such a dutiful child, always bringing so many things whenever you come over. Your parents are so blessed to have such a good daughter like you. I don't have your parents' luck, having given birth to 7 daughters, each one more disobedient than the last. Despite her weight, Chen Liebao was no fool. She knew Zhuo's mother was only after her possessions. But she just liked Zhuo Ling, had liked him since they were young. She was afraid that Zhuo's mother wouldn't want anything and, if she truly wanted nothing, Chen Liebao would lose her advantage. So, she and Zhuo's mother each had their own agendas. Chen Liebao said with a smile, "It's my duty to be dutiful to you. By the way, has Zhuo Ling not come back yet?" She had timed her visit with Zhuo Ling's usual time off from work. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know to report so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 1039, Rather starved to death. Zhuo's mother walked into the house with Chen Liebao. "Lingling hasn't come back yet, you sit first, Auntie will go peel an apple for you to eat." "Thank you, Auntie." Chen Liebao put the gift she had brought to one side. After a while, Zhuo Ling returned. When he saw Chen Liebao sitting on the sofa, his face changed. "How did you get here?" He didn't even want to bother giving Chen Liebao lip service. But Chen Liebao didn't mind Zhuo Ling's attitude at all, stood up and said, "Zhuo Ling, you're back. Look what I brought you, a gift. This is a men's shirt I had my cousin bring back from abroad, and this, a Longyan's watch. I've heard many people like this watch these days." That watch, it seemed pretty nice, and as far as he knew, it was worth quite a bit of money. If he wore it to work, he would definitely look impressive. Not a single man doesn't love watches. The anger on Zhuo Ling's face disappeared all at once. Chen Liebao observed the expression on Zhuo Ling's face and carefully said, "Shall I put it on for you?" Zhuo Ling didn't refuse Chen Liebao. Chen Liebao was overjoyed, immediately helped Zhuo Ling put on the watch. "Look how good this watch looks. By the way, I bought a women's one for Auntie too." "Really?" Zhuo Ling's mother came out of the kitchen. "Really?" Chen Liebao took out another watch box from her bag. "Auntie, this is for you." Zhuo's mother was delighted. "Liebao, what do you want to eat tonight?" "Auntie will cook it for you." Chen Liebao said with subtlety, "Anything Auntie cooks, I love to eat." "Auntie, let me help you cook too." Zhuo's mother refused. No need, you just sit in the living room and chat with Lingling, Auntie can handle it." Chen Liebao continued, "By the way, Auntie, where is your nanny?" Zhuo's mother said, "She said there was something urgent back home and asked for leave a few days ago." Chen Liebao nodded. "Oh, I see." Normally, Zhuo Ling would certainly not be willing to sit on the sofa and chat with Chen Liebao, this pigsy, but today was different. After all, he had just accepted Chen Liebao's watch. What if Chen Liebao got upset and regretted giving it? A true man can be flexible. "What TV do you want to watch?" Zhuo Ling picked up the remote control and asked for Chen Liebao's preference. Chen Liebao looked shy. "Whatever channel you tune to, I like to watch." Zhuo Ling felt goosebumps rise all over his skin. He really couldn't stand it. This Chen Liebao, although Zhuo Ling really disliked Chen Liebao, he still endured the nauseating feeling and randomly selected a channel. Chen Liebao now had no interest in watching TV, her gaze full of tenderness fixated on Zhuo Ling, as if she wished she could marry him and have kids right then and there. "I need to use the bathroom." Zhuo Ling couldn't take it anymore and stood up from the sofa. "I'll go too." Chen Liebao also stood up. "I'm going to the bathroom, why are you following?" Zhuo Ling turned to look at Chen Liebao. Chen Liebao said lovingly, "I'm accompanying you." Zhuo Ling, fighting back the urge to vomit, quickly headed towards the bathroom and closed the door behind him. Zhuo Ling sat on the toilet for more than half an hour before he went to open the door. "Zhuo Ling, are you okay?" Zhuo Ling had thought Chen Liebao would have left. He wasn't careful and bumped into Chen Liebao. Chen Liebao stretched out her hand to hold Zhuoling's head. Zhuoling, how can you be so careless? Are you okay? Zhuoling's head was firmly pressed against her chest by Chen Liebao, and he was nearly suffocating. Let go. Let me go. An opportunity like this was rare, and Chen Liebao wasn't stupid. She had no intention of letting go. Chen Liebao was quite heavy and strong, how could Zhuoling compete with her? After a full 5 minutes, Chen Liebao finally let go. Zhuoling, are you okay? It was truly disgusting. How could Chen Liebao be so shameless? Zhuoling immediately covered his mouth and rushed to the bathroom to throw up. The sound of retching was loud, he wished he could vomit out everything he had eaten the night before. In no time, his face turned pale. Chen Liebao squatted beside Zhuoling. Zhuoling, are you okay? What's wrong? Why are you throwing up? Do you feel unwell? Do you need to see a doctor? Zhuoling was fuming inside, but he couldn't show it outwardly. I'm fine, I just need to lie down on the bed for a while. Please step aside. I'll help you to your room. No need. Zhuoling waved his hand, feeling like vomiting at the sight of Chen Liebao. Chen Liebao shook his head in frustration. Right, how could a sick person walk? I should carry you to the room. Hearing this, Zhuoling looked at Chen Liebao with a face full of terror. Before he could react, he was scooped up by Chen Liebao, as effortlessly as an eagle picking up a chick. After carrying Zhuoling to the room, Chen Liebao considerately covered him with a blanket and checked the temperature of his forehead with her hand. Zhuoling was nearly disgusted to death by Chen Liebao and finally couldn't take it anymore. Would you please leave? Are you sending me away? Chen Liebao looked at Zhuoling with a face full of hurt. Get out, don't make me repeat myself a third time. I'm going to rest now. Disgust was written all over Zhuoling's face. Chen Liebao looked at Zhuoling unwillingly, but I want to stay with you. I really like you, and you know it. Zhuoling looked at her coldly. Chen Liebao wasn't intimidated by Zhuoling's demeanor, if anything, she seemed even more smitten. She really liked Zhuoling too much. Zhuoling was speechless. He couldn't understand how someone could be so shameless. Didn't Chen Liebao know what she looked like? She, resembling Zhu Beiji, fancied him? She showed not the slightest self-awareness. Zhuoling suppressed the churning in his stomach, turned over, and faced away from Chen Liebao. Chen Liebao, with her hands propping up her chin, gazed at Zhuoling with infatuation, wishing she could burn 2 holes in his back. After a while, Mother Zhuo finished cooking and called them to eat. With a Zhu Beiji around, how could Zhuoling have an appetite? Mom, you all go ahead, I'm not hungry. Mother Zhuo knew Zhuoling disliked Chen Liebao, and his lack of appetite was due to his disgust for her. If you're not eating, so be it. Let's go, Liebao, we're going to eat. Chen Liebao was concerned for Zhuoling. How can you not eat? Man is iron, food is steel, you'll get hungry if you skip a meal. Zhuoling, come on, get up, let's eat together. I'm not eating. Zhuoling's attitude was somewhat unfriendly. Mother Zhuo immediately snapped at Zhuoling. You child, how can you talk to Liebao like that? Chen Liebao waved her hand. It's fine, auntie, I just love Zhuoling's personality. This is what makes him so manly. Her last words came with a look of infatuation. Zhuoling couldn't take it anymore. He felt like he was going to be disgusted to death by Chen Liebao. This fatso. When was she going to stop? He couldn't stand it anymore. I said I'm not eating, aren't you annoying? Zhuoling couldn't help but shout. Chen Liebao clenched her hands into a fist. Ah. He's getting more and more manly. Zhuoling, Mother Zhuo sported a proud grin. How could her son not be outstanding? Someone was even willing to chase after him with such fervor. Chen Liebao continued. Zhuoling, if you don't want to get out of bed to eat, that's okay. I'll bring the food over and feed you later. Feed him? He would rather starve than be fed by that fatso. Zhuoling was startled and immediately threw off the blanket, standing up from the bed. I'll go. All right? You just leave my house after you've finished eating. Meanwhile, at the Ni family's house, Sheng Guanxi took out the bird's nest that Zhuoling had sent and showed it to Ni Zuhua. Mom, we misunderstood Zhuoling yesterday, he isn't belittling me. Instead, he used the money for buying a ring to purchase bird's nest. He said that rings are flashy but of little substance, and it's better to buy bird's nest to nurture my health. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know to report so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 1040, Set a Trap. Although these birds' nests aren't top grade, they're still imported from overseas and are much more expensive than a regular gold ring. With the Zhuo family's financial capability, for him to buy these birds' nests for Sheng Guanxi was indeed quite remarkable. Could they really have misunderstood Zhuoling? For a moment, Ni Zuihua wasn't quite clear about the truth. Are these birds' nests really from Zhuoling? Old Lady Shengguan, holding little Ni Yun, came over from the other side. Really, Grandma? Shengguanxi nodded her head. Do I need to lie about something like this? Old Lady Shengguan picked up a bird's nest and inspected it carefully. It couldn't be fake, could it? Grandma. Why don't you trust Zhuoling? Shengguanxi said speechlessly, he's not the type of person to fool me with fake stuff. Right then, Ni Yen also walked in from outside. Shengguanxi hurriedly waved to Ni Yen. Yang, come here for a second. Ni Yen walked over. What's up, Sister Xiaoxi? Shengguanxi continued. Yang, do these birds' nests look fake to you? Ni Yen picked up a bird's nest, imported from Malaysia. They're not fake. Go ahead and eat them, birds' nests are very good for women. Hearing Ni Yan's response, Shengguanxi felt relieved. See? I told you these birds' nests aren't fake. How could Zhuoling give me fake birds' nests? Zhuoling gave these? Ni Yen looked at Shengguanxi somewhat surprised. She really hadn't expected Zhuoling to gift Shengguanxi such precious items. That was really odd. Shengguanxi quickly explained the reason to Ni Yen. Upon hearing this, Shengguanxi raised her eyebrows slightly. Sister Xiaoxi, didn't you ever think that these birds' nests could have been given to Zhuoling by someone else, and he just passed them on to you? With Zhuoling's character, Ni Yen found it really hard to believe that he had bought these birds' nests to give to Shengguanxi. Could a tight-fisted person pluck feathers? That's totally illogical. Impossible, Shengguanxi said firmly. Zhuoling wouldn't deceive me. Ni Yen nodded. Sister Xiaoxi, it seems to me you're getting in deeper and deeper. It seemed some things needed to be initiated earlier. Ni Yen squinted subtly. Shengguanxi laughed. Oh well, I just trust Zhuoling, just like you trust Qishan. A shallow dimple appeared on Ni Yan's face. If Qishan dares to deceive me like that, I'll smash his head in. Far away in a foreign land, attending a meeting, Qishan sneezed out of the blue. Who was thinking of him? Could it be his wife? A faint smile curled up Qishan's lips, wrapping the outside snow and bringing a chilling cold. The people at the conference table shivered. Big boss. Please stop smiling. So terrifying. Shengguanxi said, if our family's Zhuoling dares to deceive me, then I will also smash his head in. Ni Yen laughed. Sister Xiaoxi, I'm looking forward to seeing that. Don't worry, you'll never get to see it, Shengguanxi said, smiling as she wrapped her arm around Ni Yan's shoulder. Ni Yen just smiled. After dinner, Ni Yen called Li Tong. Hello, Yang. Li Tong's voice sounded very excited. Due to her flawless skin, having just received some money from her elders, how could she not be excited? She was so happy she could jump. Ni Yen continued. Tong, are you free tomorrow morning? If you are, let's have coffee together. Ni Yen inviting her, even if she was busy, she had to make time. After all, Ni Yen was her god of wealth. Li Tong said, I have time, of course I have time. What time shall we meet tomorrow morning? Let's meet at 10, Ni Yen said. Okay, no problem. Don't miss it. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know to report so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 1041, Appointment with Li Tong. One more update. After arranging it with Li Tong, Ni Yang hung up the phone. The next morning, Ni Yang drove to meet her. Truth be told, she didn't want to drive, but it was too cold now, and riding a bike would have taken courage. When she arrived, Li Tong was already there. Yang, over here. Li Tong stood up and waved at Ni Yang. Ni Yang walked over with a smile. Tong, how come you're so early? She was worried that Li Tong might wait for her, so Ni Yang had purposely come 10 minutes early, but Li Tong had arrived even earlier. Li Tong said, well, I have the day off today and nothing to do at home. Ni Yang handed the box she was holding to Li Tong. Tong, this is the newest product from Frosty Jade Skin, why don't you try it out? New product? The mention of those 3 words lit up Li Tong's eyes. Frosty Jade Skin's products were in such high demand that ordinary people couldn't even buy the limited editions, let alone new ones. Wow! What's this new product? Is it a face mask? Li Tong immediately opened the packaging. Frosty Jade Skin already had a milk pearl powder face mask, but face masks didn't usually look like this, so Li Tong was very curious, wondering exactly what this was. Ni Yang explained with a smile, this is a snail essence eye mask, which can lighten crow's feet and under eye lines, as well as reduce dark circles. It is quite effective. Dark circles would appear from staying up late, and no matter how much foundation you applied, you couldn't completely cover them up. This eye mask was simply a savior for night owls. Good skincare products shouldn't stay the same forever, so recently, Frosty Jade Skin had not only added eye masks but had also launched several affordable skincare products. Of course, good things were meant to be shared. Eye mask? Do you use it on your eyes? Li Tong continued to ask. Exactly, Ni Yang nodded. Li Tong followed up, Yang, thank you. How much is it? Although she hadn't used this eye mask yet, Li Tong was already a loyal fan of Frosty Jade Skin. She believed that Frosty Jade Skin wouldn't disappoint her. The eye mask must be really good. Ni Yang replied with a smile, this is a new product, currently in the trial phase. Just let me know how it works for you afterward, there's no need to pay. Li Tong wasn't the kind to take advantage, no way, Yang, I can't accept the eye mask if you're not taking the money. Ni Yang took a sip of coffee. Tong, if you really feel bad about it, then do me a favor instead. What favor? Just tell me, said Li Tong. Ni Yang began speaking softly. Hearing this, Li Tong patted her chest and said, no problem, leave it to me. I promise I'll take care of it. Then I'll have to trouble you. It's no trouble at all, Li Tong continued. Yang, if you ever need help with anything in the future, just let me know. Since she wasn't working today, She spent time on a date with Zhuoling brought up marriage again. Regarding the matter of marriage, she was also somewhat at a loss. After all, it was a commitment for a lifetime, and she wanted to think it over properly. Xiaoxi, do you not love me? Zhuoling asked. She replied, no, I love you very much. Zhuoling, why would you think that? Zhuoling continued, if you love me, why won't you marry me? Especially since you've already accepted my proposal. Zhuoling was anxious. The longer the delay, the more likely it was that she might be snatched away by Wu Chenjun. Xianxia thought for a moment and then said, Zuoling, this is a matter for a lifetime. I need to discuss it with my family and prepare a lot of things. Have you already discussed it with your uncle and aunt? Zuoling replied, my parents really like you, they can't wait for me to marry you. There's no need for discussion, they are just waiting for your response now. After all, he had even threatened with his own life once, so his parents didn't dare to disagree. Xianxia said, don't worry, Zuoling, I'll pick a good day soon to talk to them about this, and I promise you won't have to wait too long. Xianxia was in a hurry too. Her family had many misconceptions about Zuoling and continuously disapproved of her marrying him. Was she supposed to secretly take her household registration book and sneak off to the Civil Affairs Bureau to register? But doing so would surely anger her parents once they found out. Hearing Xianxia say this, Zuoling no longer pressured her, then I'll wait for your good news. Xianxia nodded. Zuoling continued, by the way, Xiaoxi, I had a friend bring back a gift for you from abroad again. What gift? Xianxia asked, her face alight with surprise. This time Zuoling didn't let Xianxia guess and directly pulled a beautifully wrapped gift box from his pocket. Xiaoxi, why don't you open it and see? As instructed, Xianxia opened the gift box and saw, nestled in the red velvet, a gorgeous Longines watch. Do you like it? Zuoling asked. To ordinary people, a Longines watch was extremely luxurious, but for Xianxia, it was hardly worth mentioning. For example, the foreign brand watch on Xianxia's wrist was more than 100 times more expensive than the Longines. Unfortunately, Zuoling didn't realize the worth and thought Xianxia was wearing a no-name watch. Still, since the watch represented Zuoling's sentiments, Xianxia exclaimed with delight, I love it. Thank you so much, Zuoling. A Longines watch cost over 200 yuan, and although it wasn't expensive, it at least proved Zuoling's sincerity toward her. Just as Ni Yang had said. If a person has 1 yuan and is willing to give it all to you, that's real love. Real love is priceless. Zuoling earned only a bit over 100 yuan a month, yet he was willing to give her a watch worth over 200 yuan, that was real love. Xianxia was overjoyed to have found such a good man in this lifetime. Let me help you put it on, Zuoling continued. Xianxia nodded and took off the watch she was wearing to pocket it. With disdain, Zuoling said, Xiaoxi, that watch of yours is all worn out. Why keep it? Just throw it away. Xianxia replied, this watch was a gift from my dad, it holds special meaning. Zuoling nodded, I see it's from your father, then it shouldn't be thrown away. After helping Xianxia put on the watch, he raised his own left hand and said, look, Xiaoxi, now our watches even match. Xianxia's smile grew even more joyful. Wearing the watch Zuoling had given her, the thought of marrying him grew increasingly stronger. Xianxia had made up her mind. If her family still didn't approve, she would be bold for once. Zuoling was such a good person, she believed her family would understand her. Zuoling dropped Xianxia off at her home, then headed to his own place. As soon as he got home, Mother Zua asked with a stern face, Lingling, did you take my watch? That watch had been a gift from Chen Liebao to her, and she hadn't even had the chance to wear it before it disappeared. Zuoling nodded, yes, what about it? What did you take my watch for? Mother Zua demanded. Zuoling sat down on the couch, I gave it to Xiaoxi. What? Mother Zua nearly shrieked. He had given it to Xianxia. He had actually given that expensive watch to that little bitch. Do you know how much that watch cost? Mother Zua's face turned red with anger. Without a care, Zuoling picked up an apple, it's just a watch, right? Is it worth all this fuss? Besides, Xiaoxi is not an outsider, she's about to marry into our family. That watch costs over 200 yuan. Over 200 yuan. I couldn't even bring myself to wear it, and there you go, giving it to that little bitch without even blinking an eye. They weren't even married yet, and her son was already so enamored with that little bitch. What would happen if they did get married? Go right now and get that watch back from that little bitch. Go now. Mother Zhuo pushed Zhuoling toward the door. Speechless, Zhuoling said, Mom, is it really worth it? I'm your son. Do I mean less to you than a watch? Mother Zhuo yelled, It's my watch. What gives you the right to give it to that little bitch? If you don't want to get it, then I will go to that little bitch myself and get it. That damned little bitch, daring to take her things. Zhuoling continued, Mom, calm down. Xiaoxi is going to marry into our family soon, we can just have her return the watch later. Right now it's not going to happen, we're at a critical point. If you screw up our affair at this time, then I might as well be dead. After saying that, Zhuoling casually picked up the fruit knife on the table, appearing as if he were about to commit suicide. Mother Zhuo was terrified, her face turning deathly pale. Lingling, drop the knife. Put down the knife. Zhuoling placed the fruit knife down. Mom, don't worry. Once Xiaoxi steps into our home, you can treat her however you want, and I won't stop you. But not now. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know to report so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 1042, Beauty Trap, Second Update. He had to appease Shangguanxi properly now. If he ruined the relationship at this time, wouldn't all his previous efforts be wasted? With suppressed frustration, Mother Zhuo said, Fine, fine, fine. I won't look for her. Is that not enough if I don't look for her? Zhuoling responded with satisfaction, If you had acted like this earlier, I wouldn't have needed to get involved. At that moment, a voice came from the kitchen, Wife, where did you put our bird's nest? Birds' nests usually have some feathers, so the task of picking them fell to Father Zhuo. Hearing the words, bird's nest, Zhuoling's brow twitched, and the apple in his hand suddenly lost its appeal. Mother Zhuo said, Isn't it on top of the cabinet? Look carefully. There's nothing. I only found an empty box. Father Zhuo replied. Mother Zhuo, already full of anger and nowhere to vent it, snapped, You useless idiot. You can't even find something as big as a bird's nest. What can you even do properly? Father Zhuo replied grievously, There really is only an empty box. Just then, Zhuoling continued, Mom, I took the bird's nest. You took it? Mother Zhuo looked at Zhuoling in surprise, What did you need the bird's nest for? As soon as she finished speaking, Mother Zhuo realized, Oh no. You didn't take our family's bird's nest to give to that little bitch, did you? By the last sentence, Mother Zhuo's voice had changed. Zhuoling nodded, Yeah. Mother Zhuo really wanted to slap Zhuoling to death, but looking at her beloved son's face, she couldn't bring herself to do it and instead took out her anger on Father Zhuo, You useless idiot. Look at your great son. Oh my God. My bird's nest. The bird's nest I couldn't bear to eat myself was wasted on that little bitch. Mother Zhuo hit and punched Father Zhuo. She was furious. Father Zhuo was so angry he wanted to scold Zhuoling, but he couldn't bring himself to do it and had to suppress his anger. That night, when it was time to sleep, Mother Zhuo felt more and more uneasy as she kept tossing and turning. She was heartbroken. There might be a chance to get the watch back, but not the bird's nest. Who knows, the bird's nest might have already ended up in that little bitch's stomach. Sleep, just sleep, Father Zhuo said helplessly, It's gone, let it be. Anyway, the Liebao family is rich, so well just ask Liebao to give us another one later. Mother Zhuo responded angrily, Liebao is not a fool. Our Lingling is about to marry that little bitch, would Liebao still send stuff to our house? Father Zhuo then suggested, then we'll just have to deceive Liebao, it's not like they are getting married right away. Mother Zhuo thought this was a good idea and paid a visit to Chen Leibao's house the next day. That visit indeed proved to be very fruitful. Morning Light Group. When lunchtime arrived, Zhuoling was anxious to meet Xianxia, and he hurried to the cafeteria. He accidentally bumped into someone. And it was a beauty. Ouch! Are you blind? I'm so sorry, are you alright? Zhuoling immediately apologized. He knew this beauty, her name was Li Tong, and she worked in the department next door. It was said that Li Tong's family had a powerful background and had connections with the company's CEO, which was why she managed to have an office job. Li Tong looked up, saw Zhuoling's face, and froze, a blush coloring her cheeks. It's okay. Zhuoling also froze. As an experienced player in love games, he knew exactly why Li Tong was blushing. It was clearly the look of a young girl struck by love. Could it be that Li Tong had fallen for him? He was so handsome, youthful, and promising, with a high education level, it was completely normal for Li Tong to fall for him. Zhuoling's heart raced. You see, Li Tong had far better qualifications than Xianxia. Xianxia had only her looks. Li Tong had the looks, the body, the education, not to mention her family background. Xianxia couldn't compare to even 1/10,000th of Li Tong. Zhuoling hadn't even come back to his senses when he heard Li Tong ask, "What's your name? I don't think I've seen you before." Hearing this, Zhuoling pointed to his work badge and said, "I'm Zhuoling." Li Tong nodded, "I'm Li Tong, just call me Tong Tong." Tong Tong. Zhuoling's heart immediately fluttered. A woman wanting to be addressed so intimately clearly meant something significant. "I have to go ahead for something else," Li Tong said, then walked in a different direction. Zhuoling wanted to follow her but was afraid of being too forward, so he stared at Li Tong's back for a long time. Li Tong was beautiful and had a particularly cold demeanor. Several male colleagues in the office had tried to pursue her but all had eventually given up. Over time, no one dared to pursue Li Tong anymore. Zhuoling hadn't expected Li Tong to treat him differently. The more Zhuoling thought about it, the more excited he became, so much so that he was distracted while having dinner with Xianxia. As they ate, Xianxia said, "Zhuoling, I mentioned us to my parents last night, but they seem to misunderstand you and temporarily don't approve of our relationship. I'm so sorry." Xianxia felt very guilty, as Zhuoling had been waiting for her, but she kept disappointing him. Zhuoling must be very upset right now. Zhuoling said, it's okay, it's okay." Seeing Zhuoling like this, Xianxia thought he was angry and continued, "Zhuoling, I've made up my mind, I'll sneak our household registration book from home. Let's quietly go to the Civil Affairs Bureau and register our marriage." "Oh, okay." Zhuoling nodded absent-mindedly, then suddenly realized something was off. "No. Xiaoxi, what did you just say?" Had Zhuoling been too excited and hallucinated? Xianxia repeated what she had just said with a smile. "What? Register for marriage?" Zhuoling was startled and accidentally knocked over the soup bowl on his dinner tray, spilling the pork rib soup all over the table. Xianxia quickly stood up to wipe the table. "How about it? Are you really excited now?" Xianxia thought that Zhuoling must be too excited about the news. In fact, had he not met Li Tong an hour before, Zhuoling would indeed have been very excited. After all, he had always wanted to marry Xianxia. But not now. Not that he never would, but at least he had no immediate thoughts of getting married. Because he was unsure whether Li Tong was really interested in him. If Li Tong really liked him, and he was already married to Xianxia, wouldn't he miss out on Li Tong? Therefore, he couldn't register the marriage with Xianxia for the time being. Zhuoling gathered his thoughts and then said, "Xiaoxi, I think matters of marriage still need the approval of our parents. After all, they have worked hard to raise you, and it wouldn't be fair to them if we were to act this way, would it?" Before he pursued Li Tong, Zhuoling wouldn't easily break up with Xianxia. What if he hastily broke up with Xianxia, but Li Tong didn't like him? wouldn't it all be in vain? After speaking, Zhuoling added, Xiaoxi, misunderstandings are okay. I believe I can clear up your uncle and aunt's misunderstandings about me with sincerity. Registering hastily not only disheartens the elders but also makes them feel that I am unreliable. Xiaoxi, I don't want to put you in a difficult position, I am willing to wait. Zhuoling spoke righteously, and Shengguan was very moved. She hadn't expected Zhuoling to consider her perspective to such an extent. It seems they had misunderstood Zhuoling before. Shengguan suddenly felt very sorry for Zhuoling. Zhuoling, thank you. Thank you for thinking so much for me. Actually, I still have something I've been hiding from you. Lovers shouldn't keep secrets. She shouldn't have hidden her family background from Zhuoling. She should be honest with Zhuoling. Just then, Zhuoling suddenly saw Li Tong. Li Tong was walking this way. He absolutely couldn't let Li Tong see him with Shengguan Shi. Zhuoling suddenly stood up and said, Xiaoxi, I suddenly feel a bit unwell, am going back to the office. Hearing that Zhuoling felt unwell, Shengguan said with a concerned face, Zhuoling, are you okay? Do you need to go to the hospital? No, I'm fine, Zhuoling continued, I'll just rest at the office for a bit. Don't follow me, go ahead and eat. As he finished speaking, Zhuoling ran off like a shot. Shengguan didn't think much of it, assuming Zhuoling was just concerned she hadn't eaten enough. Back at the office, Zhuoling finally breathed a sigh of relief, thankful that Li Tong hadn't seen him. Otherwise, he wouldn't be able to explain. That evening after work, afraid of being seen by Li Tong, Zhuoling made an excuse to work overtime and sent Shengguan home first. The next morning, when Zhuoling showed up at the office again, he was startled. Because Li Tong had been transferred to their office. Upon seeing Zhuoling, Li Tong turned towards him and took the initiative to greet him, Zhuoling, good morning. We're in the same office now, I'm sitting right next to you. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know to report so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 1043, Zhuoling is hooked, Part 3. Zhuoling looked at the enthusiastic Li Tong and thought he must be hallucinating. The aloof and stunning Li Tong was actually taking the initiative to greet him. Zhuoling felt countless envious gazes turning towards him. Oh my God! He couldn't be dreaming, could he? Zhuoling pinched the inside of his thigh hard. Ouch! It hurt. He wasn't dreaming. Zhuoling looked up at Li Tong, Tong. Li Tong smiled slightly, please enlighten me on work-related matters in the future. Of course, Zhuoling nodded, if you have any questions about work, just ask me. Thank you, Zhuoling. Li Tong casually picked up a paper bag from the desk, to thank you, I'm treating you to breakfast. Zhuoling sheepishly accepted the breakfast bag. When a woman takes the initiative to show favor to a man, her intentions are all too obvious. Li Tong must have fallen for him. Maybe she even moved here for him. Zhuoling thought smugly to himself. During the lunch break, Li Tong went to talk with other female colleagues, while a few male colleagues surrounded Zhuoling. Zhuoling, you dog. You even tamed a beauty like Li Tong. Zhuoling, share some tips with us. Exactly, you can't keep these tips to yourself. You have to share with us all, so we can all win a beauty. Zhuoling was very pleased inside, but he feigned humility. Actually, I didn't do much, maybe I just happened to be the type Li Tong likes. Zhuoling, you can't be serious. Are you still hiding something? Another colleague chimed in, hey, do you guys know who Li Tong is? She's the factory manager's niece. The factory manager's niece? Zhuoling looked at the colleague who spoke in surprise, really? Although he knew there was some connection between Li Tong and the factory manager, he didn't know Li Tong was actually the niece of the factory manager. Their factory manager was in her 50s, still unmarried, without any children of her own. If Li Tong really was her niece, then she was almost like a daughter to her. After the factory manager passes away, the factory would belong to Li Tong. Of course it's true. I once saw Li Tong come out of the factory manager's office, calling her auntie. Now, isn't that proof enough that she is the niece? As soon as others heard that Li Tong was the manager's daughter, their expressions changed as well, their eyes revealing even more evident envy. Oh my God! Oh my God! Zuoling, you can't forget us when you make it big. Zuoling, you must have stepped in a fortune to be seen differently by the future factory manager. Zuoling, you've got to seize the opportunity, humor Li Tong well, and you could be the future factory manager. Everyone was saying their piece, and Zuoling was also extremely excited. Just like everyone said, if he really married Li Tong, then he wouldn't just be the son-in-law of the factory manager, he would be the future factory manager. In the future, the thousands of people in the factory would be under his command. No. He had to seize the opportunity that lay before him. It seemed that these days he needed to maintain a proper distance from Sheng Guanxi. He couldn't let Li Tong find out anything. Sheng Guanxi had clearly felt Zuoling distancing himself from her these past days. During lunch, he wouldn't come to the cafeteria but ate in the office instead, and after work, he didn't wait for her anymore. What was wrong with him? Could it be because of the marriage matter? He was angry. Sheng Guanxi stood in front of the window, letting out a deep sigh, and just then, she was embraced from behind. Zuoling. Sheng Guanxi turned around in surprise, and the person was indeed Zuoling. Zuoling said, "Xiaoxi, we've been really busy in our department recently. I'm sorry I've neglected you." Li Tong had taken the day off and wasn't at the factory, so Zuoling dared to be so bold. Moreover, he had been estranged from Sheng Guanxi for such a long time. If the estrangement continued, what if Sheng Guanxi was deceived by someone else? Besides, Zuoling hadn't confirmed his relationship with Li Tong yet. He couldn't afford to give up the sesame for the sake of the watermelon, ending up seeing neither the watermelon nor the sesame. One must always be prepared for both possibilities. The gloom of several days instantly vanished with Zuoling's explanation. Sheng Guanxi smiled and said, "It's okay, work is important. I thought you were angry with me." In his heart, Zuoling chuckled at how silly Sheng Guanxi was, but sweetly said on the surface, "How could I be? Xiaoxi, you are the one I love the most, how could I be mad at you?" Sheng Guanxi's face blushed a bit and she pushed Zuoling away. "Don't be like this. I'm telling the truth." Zuoling declared with conviction, "In my heart, no one is more important than you." "Right, tomorrow is Saturday, let's go see a movie together. Before the movie, let's go out to eat first." Sheng Guanxi nodded, "All right, I just so happen to have something to discuss with you this Saturday." Sheng Guanxi didn't want to keep hiding it from Zuoling any longer. She trusted Zuoling. He wasn't the kind of person who cared about family background. The next day was Saturday. Zuoling arrived early at the spot he had arranged with Sheng Guanxi but found Li Tong there instead. This made Zuoling anxious. What if Li Tong saw him with Sheng Guanxi? No, he couldn't let Sheng Guanxi come over now. Taking advantage of this opportunity, he could put on a good show in front of Li Tong. Zuoling quickly found a phone and called Sheng Guanxi. "Hey, Xiaoxi, something came up today. My mom isn't feeling well, and I have to take her to the hospital, so I can't meet you. Sorry, let's go watch a movie next week instead." Upon hearing this, Sheng Guanxi became very nervous. "Is Auntie okay? Which hospital are you at? I can come over and visit." As a girlfriend, she naturally had to visit when her boyfriend's mother was sick, bring some good nourishing gifts to make up for her previous rudeness, and also take the opportunity to foster a good mother-in-law and daughter-in-law relationship. Zuoling continued, "Xiaoxi, it's not necessary to go through all that trouble. My mom, she doesn't have a serious problem. It's cold now, and there are many germs in the hospital, if my mom transferred her illness to you, then I'd be the guilty one. Just take good care of yourself at home for now. I have to go now, bye. Xianxia wanted to say more, but the call had already been disconnected. He was in such a rush. But thinking that Zwilling's intentions were for her own good, Xianxia's heart grew sweet as honey. After hanging up, Xianxia thought she shouldn't keep Zwilling waiting any longer. She had to quickly get her family's approval for her marriage to Zwilling. To win over her family, she had to first convince Grandma Xianxia. Once Grandma Xianxia gave her approval, nobody would dare to object. Thinking this way, Xianxia brewed 2 cups of ginseng tea and headed to Grandma Xianxia's room. Since it was Saturday, Grandma Xianxia was sitting on the couch chatting with Xianxia Furong. "Grandma, Aunt Furong, this is the ginseng tea I've just made. Aren't you going out to have fun today, Xiaoxi?" Xianxia Furong asked with a smile. Xianxia smiled. "I was planning to go see a movie with Zwilling, but his mother suddenly got sick, so we cancelled today's date." Xianxia Furong took a sip of the ginseng tea. "Xiaoxi, are you and Zwilling still dating?" "Yes," Xianxia nodded. "This child is too stubborn. Everyone in the family says that Zwilling isn't suitable, but she is set in her ways." Grandma Xianxia turned to Xianxia Furong. "Furong, do you know what Zwilling proposed to Xiaoxi with?" Thinking of this, Grandma Xianxia's heart filled with indignation. She could rant about it to Xianxia Furong for days on end. Xianxia Furong responded with surprise, "My goodness! Zwilling has proposed?" "Yes, he did." Grandma Xianxia continued, "This scatterbrained niece of yours agreed too. Xiaoxi, bring out the engagement ring Zwilling gave you, let Aunt Furong have a look." Xianxia said, exasperatedly, "Grandma, why do you still remember this? Didn't Zwilling already buy me bird's nest? Besides, he also gave me a watch later on." Xianxia Furong was confused. "Mom, Xiaoxi, what are you talking about? I don't understand." Grandma Xianxia recounted the whole incident to Xianxia Furong. After understanding the full story, Xianxia Furong said, "Xiaoxi, your grandma is right, you are too naive. I think this Zwilling is trying to pull a fast one. But in the end, he still bought me bird's nest and a watch." Xianxia protested. "Xiaoxi, you are just too young," Xianxia Furong continued, "marriage is a lifelong matter, how could you be so hasty in deciding? Besides, look at the young ladies around you, besides you, who is wearing a ring made of wild grass. From this, it's clear that Zwilling doesn't value you at all. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know to report so we can fix it as soon as possible." Chapter 1044, It's Always Crazy Once, Part 4. Upon finishing her words, Xianxia Furong continued, "Moreover, I suspect that those birds' nests and watches weren't even bought by him. A man who can use wild grass to propose, what else can't he do? If the Zhou family couldn't afford a ring, that would be one thing, but money is certainly not an issue for them, which indicates that Zwilling doesn't really care about Xianxia. What kind of good life can you expect with a man who doesn't hold you in his heart? Little aunt, Zwilling really isn't like that. I've known him for 3 whole years. And I also feel that a ring is not practical, it just gets in the way when worn on the hand. Compared to that, she preferred birds' nests and watches." Xianxia Furong helplessly shook her head. "Xiaoxi, I think you're completely bewitched." Madame Xianxia picked up the conversation. "Xiaoxi, not only does your little aunt disagree with you being with Zwilling, but even your great aunt thinks that there's a big problem with Zwilling's character. The whole family opposed this marriage, and only Xianxia herself couldn't see the actual truth. Perhaps this is what it means to be blind when you're involved in the situation." Xianxia said very firmly, "I don't care. I just want to marry Zwilling." "I don't agree." Madame Xianxia was just as firm. "Xiaoxi, your mother passed away early, and I have a responsibility towards you. I can't just watch you jump into a pit of fire with my own eyes. Grandma, please. Xianxia clung to Madame Xianxuan's arm, nearly in tears. Zuoling and I truly love each other, he's not a pit of fire. Please bless us. Madame Xianxuan was no fool, she knew she couldn't afford to be soft-hearted at this time. Because Zuoling was not a good man. At the side, Xianxuan Furong tried to persuade Xianxuan Xiaoxi, your grandmother is only thinking of your best interests. We won't speak of family backgrounds, but just consider Zuoling's character, he's not worthy of you. And besides, his family situation is too complicated, with 7 sisters. If you really marry him, you're going to regret it one day. Although Zuoling claimed that his family didn't favor boys over girls, Xianxuan Furong felt he was lying. How could such a family not favor boys? No, I won't regret it. Xianxuan continued, and there's no problem with Zuoling's character at all. Everything he does is for my sake. He has my best interests at heart. Xianxuan Furong shook her head helplessly. Grandma, I beg you, I've never asked you for anything from when I was small until now, this is the first time, please agree, will you? All those in love are the same, they long to be with the one they love and pray for their family's blessing. The so-called feelings of happiness and sweetness fill their hearts completely, making them deaf and blind to everything else. They focus solely on being with their loved one, unafraid of even a future of hardship and darkness. Xianxuan was a prime example. She was someone who would disregard everything for love. In life, you have to be crazy at least once. Madame Xianxuan understood Xianxuan Zai's nature well. If she were to refuse outright, she feared that Xianxuan might do something extreme. She sighed and said, Xiaoxi, let me think about it. Hearing this, a glimmer of hope flashed in Xianxuan Zai's eyes. Grandma, do you agree? Madame Xianxuan said, I can't give you an answer just yet whether I agree or not. I'll let you know when I've made up my mind. As long as Madame Xianxuan was willing to compromise, it meant there was still hope for the matter. Xianxuan said with a smile, then, Grandma, you must think it over. Zuoling really is an outstanding grandson-in-law, I'll never regret marrying him. All right, Madame Xianxuan waved her hand, go on out, I have some things to discuss with your little aunt. As she spoke, Xianxuan turned and walked out, I'll go then. Whenever you're ready, Grandma, just let me know. After Xianxuan had left, Madame Xianxuan sighed, this child, Xiaoxi, is really becoming more and more like her mother. Su Fun, back then, was even crazier than Xianxuan. They were both people who would do anything for love. Xianxuan Furong nodded and sighed, yes, Xiaoxi has grown up so fast, but some things feel like they only happened yesterday. As she spoke, Xianxuan Furong's tone changed as she continued, but Mom, do you really plan on agreeing to Xiaoxi and Zuoling being together? Do you think I, as her grandmother, could just watch her jump into a pit of fire? Madame Xianxuan retorted. Is this a delaying tactic? Xianxuan Furong asked. Madame Xianxuan nodded, Xiaoxi can be quite extreme sometimes. If I didn't say it this way, I'm afraid she would do something earth-shattering. Xianxuan Furong sighed softly, but this can't continue forever. You can't keep dragging it out, can you? Madame Xianxuan looked up at the window, let's wait until Yang comes back tonight, then I'll discuss it with her. That child is the cleverest when it comes to ideas. Later that night, when Yang came back, Madame Xianxuan eagerly pulled Yang into her room to talk about Xianxuan Zai's situation. Upon hearing it all, Yang said with a smile, Grandma, you don't need to worry about this matter. I believe that in a few days, Sister Xiaoxi will break up with Zuoling on her own. Really? Lady Xianxuan couldn't believe her eyes as she looked at Yang. Yang nodded slightly, really? Yang, do you know something? Or did you do something? Lady Xianxuan asked out of curiosity. Yang responded with a mysterious smile, it was just a little trick. Yang trusted herself, and she trusted Li Tong. Hearing this, Lady Shengguan instantly felt relieved and said with a smile, "Ah, Yang Yang, with your words, I can rest easy." The next day was Sunday, and Ni Tsuehua and Shengguan Dehui went to the orphanage as usual. Time flew by, and another week passed. That week, Zhuoling was still incredibly busy, so busy that he barely had the time to see Shengguan Shi. Today was an exception. Zhuoling, afraid that Shengguan Shi might suspect something, said first, "Xiaoxi, have you and your family discussed our marriage?" Upon mentioning this, Shengguan Shi looked at Zhuoling with a face full of guilt. "I'm so sorry, Zhuoling, for making you wait so long. I've already talked to my grandmother, but she hasn't given me an answer yet." Zhuoling took Shengguan Zai's hands and spoke tenderly, "It's okay, Xiaoxi, I understand you, and I can wait for you." On closer inspection, Shengguan Shi was actually even more beautiful than Li Tong. But Li Tong was better at dressing up. Each had their own merits, and if possible, Zhuoling truly wished he could have them both. Unfortunately, that was not possible. If only Shengguan Shi had a background like Li Tong. Then he would definitely choose Shengguan Shi. Unfortunately, that was not the case. Shengguan Shi was just a country girl. Zhuoling no longer wanted to play act with Shengguan Shi, especially since Li Tong was now more important, but he had already wasted a full 3 years on Shengguan Shi and recently even gave her bird's nest and a watch. These gifts couldn't just be for nothing, and those 3 years couldn't have been wasted. So, he wanted to extract some interest from Shengguan Shi. How? Of course, by sleeping with Shengguan Shi. During their years together, aside from occasionally holding hands, they hadn't even shared a kiss. Zhuoling's calculating mind was working overtime, but Shengguan Shi was completely unaware that she had become prey in Zhuoling's trap. "Xiaoxi, do you have time this Saturday?" "Yes," Shengguan Shi nodded. Zhuoling followed up, "Then let's meet at the cafe under the blossom on Saturday." "Okay, Zhuoling, don't worry. I will definitely give you a satisfactory answer on Saturday, and on that day, I also have a long-hidden secret to tell you." This secret was something Shengguan Shi had intended to reveal to Zhuoling the previous week, but it was postponed due to his mother falling ill. Ordinarily, Zhuoling would have been curious about Shengguan Zai's secret, but today, he was not curious at all. The person he wanted to marry wasn't Shengguan Shi, so naturally, he had no interest in her secrets. In fact, if Zhuoling had asked now, Shengguan Shi would have told him about the issue with her family background. Because she felt guilty towards Zhuoling. Unfortunately, Zhuoling didn't ask. It didn't matter if he didn't ask, she would personally come clean on Saturday. After exchanging a few words with Shengguan Shi, Zhuoling returned to his office. As soon as he had settled into his seat, Li Tong leaned over to ask him a question. Zhuoling could distinctly smell the fragrance of Li Tong's perfume, and it immediately stirred his desires. When he returned home in the evening, his mother came to him again, speaking ill of Shengguan Shi. She hoped her son would give up on Shengguan Shi and marry Chen Liebao. Zhuoling said with a smile, "Mom, I think you're right, Shengguan Shi really isn't my match." "Oh my dear son, you've finally come to your senses." His mother said excitedly, "Then tomorrow, I will go to the Liebao family and settle things between you and Liebao." Zhuoling continued, "Chen Liebao isn't my match either." "Mom, you're underestimating your son. Compared to Li Tong, what was Chen Liebao worth? If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know to report so we can fix it as soon as possible." Chapter 1045, Everything is Under Control, Fifth Watch. Zhuo's mother was flustered. It was normal for Shengguan Shi not to match Zhuoling, but why now did Chen Liebao also not suit him? "Lingling, could it be that you're dating someone new?" Zhuoling shook his head. "Mom, do you know who is pursuing me now?" Although Li Tong hadn't explicitly pursued him, she had always been showing him goodwill and even moved to the same office as him. wasn't that pursuing him? Who? Zhuo's mother asked. Zhuoling proudly said, our factory manager's niece. The factory manager's niece? Upon hearing this, both Zhuo's father and mother widened their eyes in surprise. My goodness! Their son was too impressive. He was even getting chased by the factory manager's niece. Zhuoling continued, also, our factory manager's situation is quite special. She's over 50 this year, never married, and has no children. When she gets older, the factory will definitely go to her niece. Before Zhuoling could finish, Zhuo's mother impatiently said, my goodness. Lingling. Then you'll be the big boss of the factory in the future. Zhuo's father equally excitedly said, I always knew our Lingling was capable. Zhuoling nodded smugly. The entire Morning Light group would be his in the future, how could he not be proud? At this moment Zhuoling was also feeling lucky. Thankfully, he hadn't married Xianxia. If he had, wouldn't he have missed out on Li Tong and the position as factory manager? Zhuo's mother then asked, so, have you broken up with Xianxia yet? Zhuoling shook his head, I haven't had the chance to break up yet. I plan to clarify things with her this week. Zhuo's mother said, don't wait for this week, just clear it up tomorrow. And remember, make her return the bird's nest and the watch. If she refuses, I'll go to her myself. Zhuoling continued, Mom, don't worry, I know how to handle it. Zhuo's mother then asked, what's the name of your factory manager's niece? How old is she this year? Zhuoling said, her name is Li Tong. She's very beautiful, just a few years older than me. Had this been in the past, Zhuo's mother definitely would not have approved. Joking aside, her son was so outstanding, how could he settle for an older wife? But now, in the face of money and background, none of these were problems. As the saying goes, an older woman brings gold bricks, the older the better. Zhuo's father nodded in agreement, I think what your mother is saying is quite right, Lingling, you can't disdain her. Zhuoling smiled and said, don't worry, Mom and Dad, I absolutely won't disdain her. Zhuo's mother continued, yesterday, Lai Bao brought more bird's nest and ginseng. Mom will use a beautiful box to package it, you take it to Li Tong. Zhuoling said, Mom, now that I'm going to be with Li Tong, please don't let Chen Lai Bao come to our house anymore. What if Li Tong misunderstands? Besides, now just seeing Chen Lai Bao was revolting. Zhuo's mother said, that won't do. If Lai Bao stops coming, who will bring bird's nest and ginseng to our house? Who will buy your clothes? Once you and Li Tong's relationship is confirmed, only then can I clarify things with Lai Bao. Zhuo's mother was no fool. How could she sever ties with the Chen family while things were still uncertain? You know, half of the Zhuo family's sustenance was provided by Chen Lai Bao. Chen Lai Bao could be considered a money tree for the Zhuo family. Now it was perfect to use Chen Lai Bao's gifts to support Li Tong. Zhuo's mother's abacus clicked very loudly. Everything was within her calculations. Concluding her words, Zhuo's mother continued, Lingling, keep up the effort on your end, try to win over Li Tong as soon as possible, preferably make it a done deal, so she can't leave you. Only then can I comfortably reject Lai Bao. Okay, Mom, Zhuoling nodded. On the other side. As Saturday was quickly approaching, Xianxia found her grandmother, Grandma, have you finally decided about me and Zhuoling? She was truly very anxious. This time, she didn't want to disappoint Zhuoling again. She wanted to give an explanation both to herself and to Zhuoling. Grandmother Xianxia said, marriage is a lifetime affair, Xiaoxi, what's the rush? I still need to think it over. Xianxia speechlessly said, but you've been thinking for more than a week. Grandmother Xianxia chuckled, all good things take time, don't be anxious, Xiaoxi. These words were instructed by Ni Yang to say. Ni Yang's exact words were that within this week, Xianxia would definitely have a change of heart and see Zhuoling's true face. All she needed to do was to keep delaying Xianxia. Xianxia knew that her grandmother was intentionally dragging out the time. She might as well not say too much to the elderly Mrs. Xianxia. After all, no matter how much she said, they would never approve of her relationship with Sworling. It seemed she had to resort to desperate measures now. That very night, Xianxia sneaked into the study room and managed to get a hold of the family household registration book. She planned to confess her true family circumstances to Sworling on Saturday and, while at it, register their marriage. Once it's done, let's see what everyone has to say then. Time flew by quickly, and soon it was Saturday. Dressed and ready, Xianxia headed out to her appointment. But strangely, when she arrived at the cafe under the flowers, she did not find Sworling there. Normally, he would arrive more than an hour early. Could something have held him up? Xianxia randomly picked a seat and sat down, and right then, a waiter approached her. "Excuse me, are you Miss Xianxia?" Xianxia nodded. The waiter handed her a note. "This was left for you by a Mr. Zhua." Upon reading the note, she found that Sworling actually had arrived earlier, but had to cancel their meeting due to an unforeseen emergency. Xianxia sighed in disappointment. She had even planned a surprise for Sworling. Such unexpected turns of fate. It looked like they wouldn't be able to register their marriage today, and she wasn't even sure if Sworling would be available tomorrow. With a gloomy face, Xianxia left the cafe, her good mood from the morning completely gone. Having wandered aimlessly around the streets for several laps, she was just about to head home when a car suddenly stopped in front of her. The car window slowly rolled down to reveal a stunningly beautiful face. It was Yang. Yang. Xianxia looked at Yang in surprise. During the car ride, the two chatted and decided to head to the biggest mall in Beijing. The mall was bustling, filled with the festive spirit as the new year approached. "Yang, what kind of clothes do you want to buy?" asked Xianxia, linking arms with Yang. Yang looked around, definitely a Cheongsam. Cheongsams were versatile. They could be paired beautifully with long down jackets or long wool coats. Xianxia said with a smile, "I envy you. You can wear a Cheongsam anytime." She too wished to wear Cheongsams, but she didn't think she had the figure for it. Cheongsams were extremely picky, not just in terms of facial appearance but also body type, especially the latter. Even the slightest flaw could be accentuated. "Yang." Another voice echoed through the air. Yang looked up to see it was Du Jiaojiao, Sister Jiaojiao. "Hey pretty Xiaoxi, shopping for clothes too?" Du Jiaojiao came over with a smile. Yang nodded. "Yes, Sister Jiaojiao, are you also here to shop? Why don't we shop together?" "Of course, I was just about to say that." Their jovial conversation caught the eye of Wu Yenyun, who was also there to shop. Normally, she would have greeted Du Jiaojiao, but with Yang present, she chose to ignore Du Jiaojiao. From Du Jiaojiao's perspective, she could detect Wu Yenyun's evasive gaze. "Pretty lady, what's going on with you and Yenyun?" Yang was taken aback. She had never discussed matters concerning Wu Yenyun with anyone, so how could Du Jiaojiao know about it? Du Jiaojiao recounted an incident where Wu Yenyun had spoken ill of Yang behind her back. Hearing this, Xianxia covered her mouth in shock. "Oh my! How could Yenyun do something like that?" Even Yang didn't expect Wu Yenyun to stoop to such mean-spirited actions. It seemed she really despised her to the marrow. Du Jiaojiao continued, "And just now, she clearly saw us but didn't come over to greet us. That's really odd. Pretty lady, what's really going on between you and Yenyun?" Du Jiaojiao was extremely curious. Yang's eyes remained calm. "It's complicated and can't be explained in just a sentence or two. Actually, Yenyun is my younger sister, blood-related. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know to report so we can fix it as soon as possible." Chapter 1046, Scumbag Exposes True Colors, Awakening, 6th Update. Facts were facts, and Ni Yang did not want to conceal anything. Du Jiaojiao looked at Ni Yang in surprise. No wonder. No wonder, I always thought you two looked a bit alike. Although Wu Yenyun did slightly resemble Ni Yang, her features were not as stunning. Beauty lies in the skin as well as in the bones. Compared to Ni Yang, Wu Yenyun lacked a lot of natural charisma. Wu Yenyun was the gentle lady locked in the boudoir, while Ni Yang was indeed the world-conquering beauty in brilliant attire. These two, fundamentally, couldn't even be compared. Ni Yang just smiled. When Du Jiaojiao learned that Ni Yang had saved old Master Du, she thoroughly investigated Ni Yang's background. She knew about Ni Yang's life experiences. She also knew Ni Yang had 3 sisters who were abandoned due to the preference for a male child. Does Yenyun know she is your sister? Du Jiaojiao continued to ask. Ni Yang nodded, she knows. Du Jiaojiao then said, is she blaming your grandmother for abandoning her and that's why she bears a grudge against you? Maybe. Ni Yang's tone was indifferent, she blames me and my mother for not protecting her. Du Jiaojiao frowned slightly. It's understandable that she blames your aunt, but if she also resents you, then that's unreasonable. How old were you at that time? What could you have done? Ni Yang was also just a child at that time. She probably had only just started to walk steadily. How could she have stopped Grandma Mu from throwing away the children? Ni Yang just smiled silently. Du Jiaojiao continued, have you explained it to her? I have. Ni Yang shrugged, but she wouldn't listen. Not only did she not listen, but she also saw Ni Yang as a completely wicked villain. Fortunately, Ni Yang was rather open-minded and didn't mind these issues. If it were someone else, Wu Yanyun's heartless words could probably kill them with frustration. Du Jiaojiao sighed, every family has its own troubles. Alright, let's not talk too much about this, let's go over there and take a look. Ni Yang nodded, took Shengguan Zai's hand, and followed Du Jiaojiao's steps. After the 3 of them left, Wu Yenyun emerged from behind the cover. She had a hunch. They were just discussing her. Ni Yang must have spoken ill of her to Du Jiaojiao. Stirring up trouble, reversing right and wrong. Perhaps by now, she's already a villain who cannot discern good from evil in Du Jiaojiao's eyes. It was so unbearable. Why should Ni Yang malign her behind her back? Wu Yenyun bit her lip hard, her face full of resentment. Yet now, aside from feeling aggrieved, she had no other option. Ni Yang was too shrewd, winning hearts effortlessly. Even if she rushed to explain, Du Jiaojiao wouldn't believe her. In front of Ni Yang, she had no choice but to accept her fate. But she didn't want to. Ni Yang didn't have as much drama as Wu Yenyun. During the dress fitting, her pager beeped. Seeing the message on the pager, Ni Yang's mouth curved slightly, and she turned her head to call Shengguan Shi, Sister Xiaoxi. Shengguan Shi was busy picking out clothes for Zhuo Ling. Hearing Ni Yang calling her, she turned her head towards Ni Yang. Yang, what's the matter? Ni Yang continued, Sister Xiaoxi, I suddenly feel like drinking Dabai pear juice. Could you buy me a bottle? I've walked too much today, I really can't walk anymore, and they sell it right over there. Shengguan Shi nodded, sure, Sister Jiaojiao, would you like one too? I'll get you one. Du Jiaojiao smiled and said, that would be kind of you, Xiaoxi. You're welcome. With that, Shengguan Shi, picking up her bag, walked in that direction. The moment Shengguan Shi left, Wu Chenjun arrived. Yang, what did you want to see me for? Ni Yang smiled and said, let me introduce you to my good friend Du Jiaojiao. Sister Jiaojiao, this is my sister's admirer, Wu Chenjun. On hearing this, Wu Chenjun's face flashed an awkward expression. He had never shown any irregular behavior in front of Ni Yang, and he didn't know how Ni Yang had figured it out. Truly impressive. No wonder Xianxia liked her little sister so much. Ni Yang turned her gaze to Wu Qinjun. Brother Wu, do you like Sister Xiaoxi? Yes. Ni Yang was somewhat impressed by Wu Qinjun's courage to admit it publicly. It seemed that the elders in his family had not misjudged him. Wu Qinjun was indeed someone to whom one could entrust their life. Ni Yang nodded and smiled. So, would you like an opportunity to make a move now when she's vulnerable? Wu Qinjun was stunned, not immediately grasping Ni Yang's meaning. Ni Yang pointed in a direction. Sister Xiaoxi went over there. You can go find her. Whether you can win Sister Xiaoxi's heart during this opportunity is up to you. Now Wu Qinjun understood. Ni Yang was trying to matchmake him with Xianxia. Thank you. Wu Qinjun seriously said his thanks and then strode in that direction. If this worked out, he would definitely thank Ni Yang properly. Du Jiaojiao came over and nudged Ni Yang's arm. Beauty, what kind of potion are you selling in your gourd? Ni Yang smiled and said, probably matchmaking potion. She genuinely hoped that Xianxia would find true happiness that belonged to her this time. As Xianxia walked along, she suddenly saw a very familiar figure. That was Zuoling. Xianxia was stunned. Wasn't Zuoling supposed to be busy with something? Why was he here? And the woman standing next to Zuoling looked somewhat familiar. Was that Li Tong? Working in the same department, Xianxia had some impression of Li Tong. Why was Zuoling with Li Tong? Just as Xianxia was about to approach Zuoling, at that moment, Zuoling suddenly took Li Tong's hand. Yes. He took Li Tong's hand. Xianxia froze, her footsteps halting. What was happening? Just then, she heard Zuoling continue, Tong Tong, I like you. I've liked you for a long time. What? Xianxuan's face turned pale, her blood running cold at that moment. Was she hallucinating? Li Tong curved her lips into a smile, her gaze passing Zuoling and looking towards Xianxia across from them. You like me? Isn't Xianxia your girlfriend? You have a girlfriend, how can you say such things to me? Aren't you afraid Xianxia will hear and get angry? Zuoling was stunned. He hadn't expected Li Tong to know about his and Xianxuan's relationship. But Zuoling quickly recovered, his expression filled with affection. Xianxia? What is Xianxia? She doesn't even compare to your little finger. Tong Tong, the person I like is you. I want to be with you. Could you give me a chance? Li Tong raised her eyebrows. You shouldn't say that, you've been with Xianxia for 3 years. If you don't like her, how could you endure her for 3 years? Tong Tong, listen to me, I really don't like Xianxia at all, I don't feel anything for her. The only reason I've endured her for 3 years is because she kept pestering me relentlessly. I was driven to a corner, that's why I reluctantly agreed to her. Otherwise, how could a country bumpkin like Xianxia ever match up to me? Pestering relentlessly? So she was just a persistently annoying country bumpkin. That's just ludicrous. Xianxia never imagined that one day, she would hear such disheartening words about herself from Zuoling. Tears blurred Xianxuan's sight unknowingly. Li Tong continued, I don't see Xianxia as that kind of person. How can you prove what you're saying is true? Zuoling immediately held up 3 fingers, I can swear to the heavens. Li Tong laughed, if swearing were effective, then there wouldn't be so many heartbreakers in this world. How do I know you're not lying to me? Besides, I heard you've already proposed to Xianxia. This Li Tong was indeed the factory director's niece. She had quite the intelligence network. She even knew about that. At times like this, instead of denying everything, it might be better to just admit it openly. Perhaps Li Tong might even admire him more for it. Zuoling said, actually, the proposal wasn't really my intention, I just wanted to placate her, otherwise I wouldn't have come without even preparing a ring. Tong Tong, you know what? I just took a ring made of wild grass. she still agreed. Can you believe it? Xianxia must be a fool. Ha ha ha. Li Tong chuckled, then she really is a fool. Xianxia treated Zuoling like a treasure, but in his eyes, she was even less than grass. What else is that if not foolishness? Hearing this, Xianxia could no longer bear it, and turned around and walked away. She was too heartbroken, not even watching where she was going, and bumped directly into a wall of people, her tears instantly staining the person's clothes. What's wrong, Xianxia? Who bullied you? If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know to report so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 1047, Confession, Part 7. Hearing the familiar voice, Xianxia couldn't control herself anymore and hugged his waist directly. She burst into a loud cry. The feeling was like that of a child who had been wronged, suddenly seeing an adult from home. All the grievances were infinitely magnified at that moment. Wu Chenjun froze, not knowing what to do. He said, "Tell me, who bullied you? I'll go get revenge for you." Not only did Xianxia not answer Wu Chenjun, but she cried even louder. There weren't many reasons that could make Xianxia cry so heartbroken. It must be because of some pretty-faced boy. With slightly furrowed brows, Wu Chenjun looked up ahead. Sure enough, he saw Zuoling not far away, laughing and chatting with another woman. This pretty-faced boy, having Xianxia so good and not cherishing her, actually went to flirt with other women. Wu Chenjun's eyes filled with anger. Is it Zuoling, that pretty-faced boy who bullied you? Wait. I'll go beat him up right now. Daring to bully Xianxia. He doesn't see whose woman Xianxia is. Wu Chenjun released Xianxia and strode over towards Zuoling. Don't go. Xianxia reached out and grabbed Wu Chenjun's hand. Wu Chenjun could easily have brushed off Xianxia's hand. But he just couldn't. His hand felt electrified, tingling all over. Don't go. Xianxia choked up, could you take me away from here? She didn't want to face Zuoling, nor did she want Zuoling to see her in such a sorry state. She just wanted to leave this place immediately. Okay. Wu Chenjun gripped Xianxia's hand firmly, shielding her in his arms and using his suit jacket to cover her face, striding toward the exit. Passers-by looked on curiously, but none saw Xianxia's discomposure. Wu Chenjun escorted Xianxia to the car. Where do you want to go? Xianxia shook her head, I don't know. Zuoling was her first love, and the one she wanted to marry ideally. The sudden turn of events made her feel as if her world had collapsed. The whole world turned dark. Wu Chenjun reached out and ruffled Xianxia's hair. It's just a man, isn't it? Xianxia, are you that frail? I remember the old you wasn't like this. Xianxia glared at Wu Chenjun, her voice still thick with tears. What do you know? You've never been in love. How do you know I've never been in love? Wu Chenjun countered. Xianxia was taken aback. Ah. Have you? It made sense, after all. Wu Chenjun had been abroad for so many years, how could he have never been in love? Wu Chenjun smiled and handed Xianxia a tissue. Want to wipe your tears? You're stronger than me, at least you once had love, while I never even had that. There was a trace of forlornness in the depths of Wu Chenjun's eyes. Xianxia casually wiped her eyes. Ah. What do you mean? Wu Chenjun fell silent. I mean, it's about being secretly in love. Xianxia, after all these years, how can you still be as clueless as before? His remark was ambiguous. Everyone around him could see that he liked Xianxia, except for Xianxia herself. In fact, Xianxia really hadn't noticed. You have someone you secretly like? Wu Chenjun was handsome, well-educated, from a good family, and had studied abroad. Sheng Guanxi thought he surely wouldn't lack girlfriends. It was unimaginable that Wu Qinjun had someone he secretly admired. Truly incredible. Wu Qinjun said with a smile, "You can have a boyfriend, why can't I have someone I secretly admire?" Sheng Guanxi sniffled, I didn't mean that, my point is your standards are so high, what kind of girl wouldn't be satisfied with you? Wu Qinjun sighed, I also want to ask her what she doesn't like about me, so I can change. Unfortunately, she doesn't even want to give me a chance to change. Sheng Guanxi sighed too, Wu Qinjun, you are so pitiful. Compared to her, Wu Qinjun indeed seemed to be a lot more pitiful. This comparison made Sheng Guanxi feel a bit more balanced in her heart. It seems that in this world, she wasn't the only pitiful person. I'm so pitiful, does it make you feel a little better? Wu Qinjun turned his head to look at Sheng Guanxi. Sheng Guanxi paused for a moment, then said, Wu Qinjun, you're not making up this story just to comfort me, are you? Do I look like that great of a person? Wu Qinjun retorted. It seemed, not really. Wu Qinjun continued, I'm serious, do you want me to go beat up that pretty boy? There's no need, Sheng Guanxi shook her head. Wu Qinjun frowned slightly, you still have illusions about him. That made sense, 3 years of a relationship was not something you could let go of just because you said so. A mysterious expression surfaced in the depths of Wu Qinjun's eyes. It felt like he was a little short of breath. Upon hearing this, Sheng Guanxi immediately denied, how could that be possible? I'm not an idiot. After all Zhuoling has done, why would I still harbor any illusions about him? Why wouldn't you let me beat him up then? Wu Qinjun countered. Sheng Guanxi said, because I'm afraid hell dirty your hands. For a scumbag like him, it's not worth it at all. Sheng Guanxi had a clear sense of love and hate. At this point, she had completely given up on Zhuoling. Her family was right, a person with character issues like Zhuoling simply didn't deserve her. She deserved better. Now, she regretted not listening to her family earlier and leaving Zhuoling sooner. At the same time, Sheng Guanxi was also thankful that she had uncovered Zhuoling's true colors early. If she had found out after getting married, it wouldn't have ended well. Thinking back, she realized how foolish she had been. To be deceived by Zhuoling so completely, she should have realized long ago that Zhuoling had ill intentions. Wu Qinjun's eyes lit up as if he had come back to life. Are you speaking truthfully? Sheng Guanxi nodded, of course it's true. Wu Qinjun then said, if it's the truth, then why are you crying? 3 years, I wasted 3 years with him. My heart isn't made of stone, how could I not have any reaction? That was the prime of her youth. Wasting 3 precious years on a scumbag like Zhuoling, how could Sheng Guanxi not feel upset? Wu Qinjun was still a bit worried, what if he turned over a new leaf? Would you forgive him? No. Sheng Guanxi said firmly. A scumbag is a scumbag. Even if he's reborn, as long as he's still Zhuoling, I will never forgive him. A smile slowly appeared on Wu Qinjun's lips, really? Happiness came so unexpectedly, he couldn't believe it, what should he do? Of course it's true. Sheng Guanxi affirmed resolutely. Having known Sheng Guanxi for so many years, Wu Qinjun knew well that she was a woman of her word. Since Sheng Guanxi was so certain, she definitely wouldn't rekindle the past flame. That meant his chance had arrived. Wu Qinjun started the car, shall I take you home now? Sheng Guanxi shook her head, I don't want to go home right now. Wu Lao-san, let's go for a drink. Can we go to Blue Night Bar? No matter the era, there's never a shortage of nightlife. By 85, Beijing already had several bars. Wu Qinjun thought for a moment, are you sure you want to go to the bar? Sheng Guanxi nodded, I've never been to a bar my entire life. Can you take me just this once? Wu Qinjun hesitated, then nodded, all right. Bars in the 80s were a bit different from those in later years. Bars of later times were glitzy and extravagant. At present, bars were simply places for drinking, not only orderly but also quite elegant, open even during the day. She ordered 2 pitchers of beer in one go. At first, it was fine, but after a couple of glasses, she started crying while drinking. Usually prim and proper, she became a different person when drunk, hugging Wu Qinjun and cursing out Zwilling. Wu Qinjun just played along with her antics and joined in the cursing. Meanwhile, Yang and Du Jiaojiao were still picking out clothes. Du Jiaojiao was a shopping guru, and in no time, she was carrying 7 or 8 bags. Yang also selected a cheongsam for herself, along with a coat and a down jacket, and bought a set for each of the 3 elders, her parents, and little Yun at home. The beauty, Xiaoxi hasn't returned yet. Are you sure she's alright? Du Jiaojiao was a little worried about Shi. She has Wu Qinjun with her, she'll be fine. Wu Qinjun grew up with Shi since childhood, and he was a gentleman. Yang wasn't worried about Shi at all. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know to report so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 1048, Grandpa Du is furious, do you no longer wish to live? 8 updates, Du Jiaojiao nodded her head, it's getting late, let's go for dinner. Sure. After all, Yang's task was already fulfilled. This way. Du Jiaojiao linked her arm with Yang's. Yang pointed in another direction, that way seems to be closer. Du Jiaojiao said, my younger brother is waiting for me over here. Is your big brother here too? Du Jiaojiao said, he originally didn't want to come, but since he hasn't left the house for several days and I find shopping by myself too boring, I dragged him along. In reality, having the eldest Du around was the same as not having him around. Because he hardly walked a few steps with Du Jiaojiao. There was a rest area inside the department store. With the new year approaching, the area was filled with people. Yet Wu Yenyun spotted Elder Du at a glance. He was sitting amidst the crowd, with one hand holding Buddhist scripture, the other turning a page. His pale palm was adorned with Buddha beads that, maybe due to being worn for a long time, were smooth to the point of shining like bright night pearls, dazzling under the light. Wu Yenyun was momentarily startled, then turned to look at her reflection in the mirror. Today she was wearing a white down jacket and small leather shoes, her hair was tidy, her face was clean, and after some time spent on self-care, the sickly and gaunt Wu Yenyun of the past was gone. Now, reflecting off the glass was a completely transformed Wu Yenyun. She and Yang were blood sisters, and she didn't think she was much less attractive than Yang at this point. So now, Wu Yenyun had enough confidence to greet Elder Du. Wu Yenyun turned slightly, preparing to walk over to Elder Du, but at that moment, she froze. Because someone had beaten her to it. It was Yang. Again, it was her. Was she doing it on purpose? A layer of anger surfaced in the depths of Wu Yenyun's eyes. Doesn't Yang already have a boyfriend? Why does she always crowd around Elder Du? Does she really think of herself as some kind of fairy, that all the men in the world have to like her? Wu Yenyun clenched her fists so hard her face turned white with rage. Over here. Du Jiaojiao, still arm in arm with Yang, said, I'm going to have dinner with the great beauty. Are you coming? 2 girls going to eat together. If there was any private talk, having a man like him around was inappropriate anyway. Elder Du raised his eyes slightly, I'm not hungry, you 2 go ahead. Are you sure you're not going? Du Jiaojiao asked. Elder Du shook his head, no, I'm not going. Alright, then. Du Jiaojiao didn't press further, well, the beauty and I are leaving. Go ahead. After saying this, Elder Du added, by the way, where are you going to eat? I'll have the driver come pick you up later. Yang said, no need to trouble yourself, I'll take Sister Jiaojiao back after we eat. Elder Du didn't stand on ceremony either. Watching Ni Yang and Du Jiaojiao leave, color finally returned to Wu Yanyan's face as she trotted over to Elder Du. Mr. Du, Elder Du frowned slightly. And you are? He had always had a poor memory for people who were irrelevant to him. At his words, Wu Yanyan felt a moment of dejection. She had met Elder Du several times already, yet he still didn't remember her. Was she really that unremarkable? I am Wu Yanyan, she said. Oh, having been reminded, Elder Du seemed to recall, you're Ni Yang's younger sister. Elder Du couldn't remember Wu Yanyan's face, but he did remember her name. Because Ni Yang had mentioned it more than once in front of him. Ni Yang's younger sister? Wu Yanyan lightly bit her lip as a surge of indignation rose within her. In Elder Du's mind, was she merely the existence of Ni Yang's younger sister? No. She wasn't Ni Yang's younger sister. Nor was she an accessory to anyone else, she was herself. She was Wu Yanyan. This time, she was determined to make Elder Du remember her clearly. I'm not Ni Yang's younger sister. That kind of person doesn't have the right to be my sister. Du Grandpa slightly frowned, a surge of nameless anger suddenly rising in his heart, but his face remained as gentle as ever as he sized up Wu Yanyan with a cool tone. Ugliness breeds mischief. Ugliness breeds mischief? In an instant, Wu Yanyan was stunned. Du Grandpa's words felt like a bucket of cold water had been poured over her face, leaving her humiliated and furious. She had never imagined that Du Grandpa would say such a thing to her. Shouldn't Du Grandpa be asking her why she said those things about Ni Yang? Wu Yanyan had even prepared her defense in her mind. If Du Grandpa asked her, she would expose the Ni family's contemptible acts of gender preference. Let everyone know Ni Yang and the Ni family's deeds. Then see if Ni Yang would still have the face to appear before Du Grandpa. But he didn't. Not only did Du Grandpa not ask anything, but he also uttered hurtful words without the slightest concern for her dignity. However, judging by Du Grandpa's demeanor, she knew him not to be a man who cannot distinguish right from wrong. Could it be that Ni Yang had poisoned Du Grandpa's mind against her? Yes. It must be so. Previously, Du Grandpa had been very polite to her, and if Ni Yang hadn't said anything, Du Grandpa would not have suddenly turned like this. What on earth did Ni Yang want? She was the victim, the child who had been abandoned, and she had hardly done anything till now, but Ni Yang wouldn't let her go. Why? No, she couldn't let Du Grandpa misunderstand her any longer. Chasing after Du Grandpa, Wu Yanyan stepped outside. Mr. Du, Mr. Du. Wu Yanyan grabbed the hem of Du Grandpa's long robe. Respect yourself. Du Grandpa flung Wu Yanyan's hand away. Unprepared and on the slippery snowy road, Wu Yanyan tumbled to the ground. Quite embarrassingly. But Wu Yanyan couldn't care about that now, she just wanted to expose Ni Yang's true face to Du Grandpa. Mr. Du, you must not be deceived by Ni Yang. She's a person with double standards. I am her biological sister, born from the same mother, yet because they favored boys over girls, they abandoned me. Later, when Ni Yang knew for sure I was her sister, she hid it on purpose for fear I would take the Ni family's property. And moreover, she deliberately appeared before you, she wanted to seduce you. Yet she already, just then, Wu Yanyan's voice suddenly got stuck in her throat, as if someone had pressed pause. Because Du Grandpa's hand suddenly gripped Wu Yanyan's jaw, tightening progressively while his slender knuckles turned white. The force was so great that pain twisted Wu Yanyan's facial features. Do you want to die? Although he was a follower of Buddhism, at this moment, he was enshrouded in a sinister aura, instilling a deep fear from the bones. Too terrifying. Having known Du Grandpa for so long, Wu Yanyan had never realized he had this side to him. Just when Wu Yanyan felt she was about to die, Du Grandpa gradually released his grip. Wu Yanyan watched Du Grandpa's fading back in a daze, gasping for air. After a long while, Wu Yanyan got up from the ground and walked home. Once home, Wu Yenyun hid in her room under the blanket and sobbed her heart out. It wasn't until dinner time that Wu Yenyun came out of her room. Yan Erju was startled to see Wu Yenyun's spiritless appearance. "Xiaoyun, what's wrong with you? You're so pale. Are you feeling unwell?" Wu Yenyun shook her head. "Mom, I'm fine, just have a bit of a headache, maybe I caught a cold while wandering the mall this afternoon." Yan Erju followed up, "Let's go to the hospital and have a look." "No need, I'll be fine after eating and getting some sleep." Yan Erju frowned. "If you're not feeling well, you must tell us." "Okay," Wu Yenyun nodded. After Wu Jinshu returned home, Yan Erju told him about Wu Yenyun feeling unwell. Wu Jinshu worriedly suggested, "Shall we go check on Yenyun now? A headache is no joke." "Okay." The couple approached Wu Yenyun's bedroom door and knocked for a long time, but there was no response from inside. Fearing that Wu Yenyun might be in trouble, they found a key and opened the door. They saw Wu Yenyun lying on the bed, her face abnormally red, lips covered with layers of white film. Yan Erju touched Wu Yenyun's head and exclaimed, "My God! She's burning up. Yenyun is running a fever." Wu Jinshu said, "I'll go and get the bicycle ready, you help Yenyun put on a coat, and let's rush her to the hospital." "All right." As the Wu family's house was ideally located close to the hospital, the couple pushed the bike and in about 20 minutes, they had taken Wu Yenyun to the hospital. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know to report so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 1049, Break Up with the Scumbag. 9 more, after the doctor's examination, it turned out to be a viral cold, nothing serious. A couple of 4 saline drips and some medicine would do the trick. Hearing this, Wu Jinshu and Yan Erju breathed a sigh of relief. On the other side, after drinking, Sheng Guanxi and Wu Chenjun returned home. It was already nearing midnight. As if knowing that Sheng Guanxi would return late tonight, the gates to the Ni family household were left open. Just as Wu Chenjun's car pulled up to the gate, Ni Tsuehua and Sheng Guandehue walked out from inside. "Uncle, Auntie," Wu Chenjun helped a completely inebriated Sheng Guanxi out of the car. "Is Xiaoxi okay?" Ni Tsuehua asked worriedly. Wu Chenjun, feeling somewhat embarrassed, replied, "She's fine, just had a bit of beer." "I'm sorry, Uncle and Auntie, I didn't keep an eye on her." Sheng Guandehue smiled and said, "It's okay, Yang has already explained the situation to us. Chenjun, thank you for being there for Xiaoxi at this time." At times like this, compared to family, Wu Chenjun, who grew up with Sheng Guanxi, was more suited to be by her side. There are things one can't say in front of family, but there are no such taboos with friends. Moreover, from a selfish point of view, Sheng Guandehue was very satisfied with this young man he had watched grow up. Ni Tsuehua helped Sheng Guanxi into the house. Sheng Guandehue stayed back to chat with Wu Chenjun for a few moments. The hangover was truly unpleasant. When Sheng Guanxi woke up, it was already past 10 the next morning. Thinking back to yesterday, it felt like a dream. When she thought of Zhuoling again, Sheng Guanxi felt not just a tinge of sadness but, more so, anger. What a scumbag. She hadn't expected him to be such a person. Sheng Guanxi freshened up, got dressed, and headed downstairs. "Good morning, Sister Xiaoxi," Ni Yang greeted Sheng Guanxi with a smile as she sat at the dining table. "Good morning, Yang." Thinking of yesterday's events, Sheng Guanxi felt something was off. "Yang, did you already know about Zhuoling? It couldn't have been such a coincidence." Now that she thought about it, there was no reason for Ni Yang to have her buy pear soda out of the blue. And after she and Wu Chenjun left the mall, Ni Yang didn't page her either. Ni Yang didn't deny it and nodded. "Li Tong is my friend." "What?" Sheng Guanxi looked at Ni Yang in surprise. unable to react for a moment. What was this situation? Li Tong was actually Ni Yang's friend. Ni Yang recounted the whole story. She had known for a long time that Zhuoling was unscrupulous, which is why she had Li Tong test him, never expecting Zhuoling to actually fall for it. Hearing this, Sheng Guanxi sighed endlessly. She wasn't unreasonable, she knew Ni Yang did this for her own good. She not only did not blame Ni Yang but also wanted to thank her. If it weren't for Ni Yang, she would still be in the dark about Zhuoling. Yang, thank you. Ni Yang smiled and said, what are sisters for? Oh, and Sister Xiaoxi, don't be mad at Li Tong, she did what she did at my request. Sheng Guanxi nodded, don't worry, Yang, I won't be mad at Li Tong. I need to thank her too. This matter was also greatly helped by Li Tong. Ni Yang continued, Sister Xiaoxi, don't be too upset, a scumbag like Zhuoling really isn't worth your sorrow. There might not be lots of toads with 2 legs in this world, but there are plenty of men with 2 legs. Right, Sheng Guanxi nodded again, I understand, I'm not upset. Sheng Guanxi wasn't upset about Zhuoling, she was saddened by the lost 3 years of youth. Now, she only regretted not having seen Zhuoling's true colors earlier. Seeing that Sheng Guanxi was in good spirits, Ni Yang also let out a sigh of relief. She had been worried about whether Sheng Guanxi would get over this hurdle. Now, it seemed that Sheng Guanxi was much stronger than she had imagined. By the way, Sister Xiaoxi, when do you plan on breaking up with Zhuoling? Just then, the voice of the nanny filled the air, Xiaoxi, you have a phone call. Since there were elderly people at home and Ni Tsuehua was busy with work, Ni Yang had hired 2 nannies from outside. Who is it? Sheng Guanxi turned and asked. It seems to be your boyfriend. The nanny had been working in the Ni family for more than a month and often received calls from Zhuoling. Sheng Guanxi walked over and picked up the receiver. Hello? Zhuoling's voice came from the other end. Hello, Xiaoxi, I'm really sorry about yesterday, my mom had another episode so I had to rush to the hospital, but I'm free today, how about we go watch a movie? Zhuoling was very frustrated. Yesterday, he confessed to Li Tong. But to his surprise, Li Tong rejected him. She even said he was a toad lusting after a swan's flesh. But it was clearly Li Tong who seduced him first, that wretched woman. If she weren't the factory manager's niece, he would definitely not spare another glance at Li Tong. To think she was something special. She doesn't even compare to 1/10,000th of Sheng Guanxi. Luckily, he hadn't confessed to Sheng Guanxi sooner, otherwise, it would have been all for naught. Listening to Zhuoling's voice, a mocking look surfaced in Sheng Guanxi's eyes. Did this Zhuoling really think she was still the same naive Sheng Guanxi of the past? How ludicrous. Zhuoling, let's break up. What? Zhuoling thought he must be hallucinating. Was Sheng Guanxi breaking up with him? Sheng Guanxi loved him so much, how could she break up with him? Xiaoxi, stop joking around, this joke isn't funny at all. Sheng Guanxi said seriously, I'm not joking, Zhuoling. How could a country girl like me be worthy of you? Upon hearing this, a shock went through Zhuoling. He knew. He was finished. That scene from yesterday must have been seen by Sheng Guanxi, otherwise, she wouldn't have said such a thing. Xiaoxi, things are not what you saw, I can explain. It was all Li Tong, that wench. She seduced me first, beep beep beep, the busy tone came through from the other end of the phone. Ah. Zhuoling smashed the phone in anger. What's wrong? Lingling, what happened? Zhuoling's mother rushed out of the room, looking anxious. Sheng Guanxi broke up with me. Upon hearing this, Zhuoling's mother rejoiced, that's good news. After all, you were ready to break up with her. Zhuoling's mother had never liked Sheng Guanxi anyway. Zhuoling said furiously, but Li Tong didn't accept me. Li Tong rejected me yesterday. What? Zhuoling's mother exclaimed in surprise, Li Tong actually rejected you? Didn't you say Li Tong liked you? What on earth is going on? Zhuoling's mother was very anxious. She wanted to find Li Tong and ask about the situation personally. After all, Li Tong was a big catch. Without Li Tong, how would her son ever become a great factory manager? After a pause, Zhuoling's mother continued, Lingling, don't worry. Maybe Li Tong is just testing you. She is, after all, the factory manager's niece with many responsibilities. Zhuoling sighed, it's impossible now, there's no chance for me and Li Tong, because Li Tong made it quite clear yesterday. He couldn't possibly demean himself by pursuing Li Tong. So, he had to settle for second best and marry Shang Guanxi, but now, Shang Guanxi had broken up with him too. Zhuoling's mother frowned, is it really impossible? Did you offend Li Tong in some way? With someone like Li Tong, who's such a pampered rich girl, her temper is quite fiery. Why don't you go and sweet-talk her again? It's no use. Zhuoling flung away his mother's hand, that bitch Li Tong was just playing me from the start. She never liked me. Zhuoling had never been played like this his whole life. He felt like a fool. Zhuoling's mother was terrified. Lingling, don't get angry, Mom spoke out of turn. It's her loss for not fancying you. When you make it big in the future, she'll regret it. Even though there's no Li Tong, you still have Lai Bao. In terms of family background, Lai Bao is certainly not inferior to Li Tong. In terms of family background, Chen Lai Bao was of course not comparable to Li Tong. But under the current circumstances, Zhuoling's mother could only use this to comfort Zhuoling. As a mother, she couldn't bear to see Zhuoling so heartbroken. Enough. Don't talk anymore. Shut your mouth. Zhuoling glared furiously at his mother, he looked petrifying. Zhuoling's mother swallowed hard, afraid to upset her son further. Okay, Mom won't talk, Mom won't talk. Ni family. Upon learning about Shang Guanxi breaking up with Zhuoling, old lady Shang Guan's spirits lifted considerably. Finally, they had broken up. However, old lady Shang Guan was still somewhat uneasy because Shang Guanxi and Zhuoling had had a falling out once before but got back together not long after. Old lady Shang Guan feared Shang Guanxi might pull a fast one on her again. Xiaoxi, you won't get entangled with that Zhuoling kid again, will you? If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know to report so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 1050, Wu Yenyun critically ill, 10th update, what else could I have to do with Zhuoling? Unless a donkey kicked me in the head. Shang Guanxi said with a smile, Grandma, rest assured, no more. Really? Really? Shang Guanxi nodded earnestly, I swear, if I'm ever stupid enough to be with trash like Zhuoling again, may lightning strike me down. After receiving Shang Guanxi's promise, Grandmother Shang Guan finally breathed a sigh of relief. Shang Guansu, watching Shang Guanxi with a smile, said, Xiaoxi, you're finally thinking straight. When I knew you were dead set on marrying Zhuoling, it worried me so much I couldn't sleep for several nights. Shang Guanxi raised an eyebrow, really? You care about me that much? You're being heartless now. When have I ever treated you poorly? Alright. Shang Guanxi said with a laugh, Big brother, you're always the best to me. Shang Guansu was then satisfied. Ni Yang raised his glass to Shang Guanxi, Sister Xiaoxi, congrats on escaping the wolf's den and being reborn. Also, hoping you'll find your ideal man soon. Speaking of an ideal man, I actually know one, Shang Guansu said thoughtfully. Who? Ni Yang played along with Shang Guansu smoothly. Shang Guansu looked at Shang Guanxi, Xiaoxi, how about I introduce you to a particularly outstanding young man? No thanks. Shang Guanxi immediately waved him off, I'm really not in the mood to think about these things at the moment. After all, she had just ended a relationship. How could she possibly be ready to accept a new one so quickly? Since Xianxia disagreed, Xianxia, as her brother, couldn't force her. After dinner, Xianxia took her prepared belongings and then went to work. The moment she got off the bus, she saw a familiar figure. It was Zhuo's mother. Zhuo's mother was not alone, she stood there with a very plump young woman. Upon seeing Xianxia, Zhuo's mother immediately said, "There she is. Lai Bao, that's the shameless woman who tricked Lingling out of his bird's nest and watch." Indeed, the young woman standing beside Zhuo's mother was Chen Lai Bao. Xianxia had already broken up with Zhuo Ling and naturally did not want to deal with Zhuo's mother's attitude. Just as she was about to bypass Zhuo's mother, the woman grabbed Chen Lai Bao's hand and blocked Xianxia's path. "Auntie, may I ask what the matter is?" Xianxia said as politely as possible. Zhuo's mother did not speak, and Chen Lai Bao, with her chin lifted, stared at Xianxia. "You shameless woman, hurry and return the things you gave to brother Zhuo Ling." "What?" Xianxia was taken aback. Chen Lai Bao, hands on her hips and a ferocious look on her face, "You look decent enough, so why always do such shameless things?" The bird's nest was for brother Zhuo Ling's health, and the watch was a gift for his mother. It's really too shameful to even trick these things away. While being pointed at and scolded, Xianxia wanted to get angry, but she dared not. Because Chen Lai Bao was simply too fat. At least 300 to 400 pounds. How much did Xianxia weigh? 98 pounds. Chen Lai Bao could pick her up with one hand. If it came to a fight, Xianxia couldn't win against her, so at times like these, it was better to seek peace rather than conflict. Seeing that Xianxia remained silent, Zhuo's mother stepped forward. "I'm telling you, Xianxia, stop playing dumb. Hurry up and return the bird's nest and watch you tricked from Lingling." Now, Xianxia understood a bit more. She took out the box of birds' nests and the watch from her bag. "Is this what you're talking about?" Since she had broken up with Zhuo Ling, she wasn't going to keep his things. She had intended to return them to Zhuo Ling after getting to her unit. "Yes, that's it." Chen Lai Bao snatched the items from Xianxia's hands. "You're such a shameless woman. To dare trick these away." Xianxia was very angry, but she had to suppress the rage inside her. She hadn't dreamed that these items weren't even bought for her by Zhuo Ling. And she never expected that her family's words would come true. Now I'd like to correct 2 points. First, these items were given to me by Zhuo Ling. Second, I'm not a swindler. Chen Lai Bao rolled her eyes. "If you weren't a swindler, would these things be in your possession? Just look at yourself in the mirror. Do you really think brother Zhuo Ling would give you things? Such a shameless person." Xianxia ignored Chen Lai Bao and walked around them, heading towards her unit. If she couldn't provoke them, couldn't she at least avoid them? Yet just as she reached the entrance of her unit, there was Zhuo Ling, waiting. Xianxia simply ignored Zhuo Ling. Zhuo Ling hurried to keep up with Xianxia's pace. Xiaoxi, listen to my explanation, things really aren't like that. Please give me another chance. Get lost." Of course, Zhuo Ling wasn't willing to get lost. He thought to himself, since Xianxia loved him so much, as long as he thickened his skin a bit more, she would definitely forgive him. Xianxia glanced at Zhuo Ling. "Zhuo Ling, please keep your distance from me. I'm allergic to scumbags. If you keep this up, watch out, they'll call the police and accuse you of harassment. This is the workplace, don't make it awkward for everyone." After saying that, Xianxia turned and left. Zhuo Ling watched Xianxia's retreating figure, opened his mouth to speak but then sighed and headed toward his office area. Just as he walked into the office, he noticed his colleagues were looking at him with odd expressions. Could it be that they all knew about his rejection by Li Tong yesterday? That bitch Li Tong. Just then, the manager came over and patted Zhuoling on the shoulder. "Zhuoling, pack up and leave early." Zhuoling was stunned. "Leave early? Leave early to go where?" "What do you mean?" Zhuoling looked at the manager puzzled. The manager said, "It means that you've been fired." "Fired?" Zhuoling couldn't believe what he was hearing. "I haven't done anything wrong. On what grounds are you firing me?" The manager continued, "Someone reported that you've been having inappropriate relationships. Is that reason enough? The 1980s were not like the future. Going back a couple of years, engaging in inappropriate relationships would not only result in being fired from your job, but serious cases could even lead to imprisonment. Zhuoling, I'm giving you face, and I hope you'll wise up. Take this opportunity to pack up and leave before we put this on your record." Once this was recorded, it would become a lifelong stain for Zhuoling, and no company would hire him from then on. There was no need to guess, it definitely had to be Li Tong's doing. Yet, Zhuoling couldn't even vent his anger. Under someone's roof, one can't help but bow their head. Zhuoling went to his desk, gathered his things, and then left carrying a cardboard box. None of his colleagues, with whom he used to be so close, were there to see him off. Life could be so ridiculous. At lunchtime, Shangguanxi made a point of finding Li Tong and thanking her. Li Tong looked at Shangguanxi in surprise. "You're thanking me?" She had broken up Shangguanxi and Zhuoling logically. Shangguanxi should have hated her to the core, right? And yet, she was thanking her. Shangguanxi smiled. "You let me see Zhuoling's true face." "Of course, I have to thank you." She wasn't a fool. Li Tong, without any reserve, put her arm around Shangguanxi's shoulder. "Shangguanxi, you're truly Ni Yang's sister. Such clear thinking. I like it." To be deceived by a scumbag to this extent, Li Tong had thought Shangguanxi was a blockhead. Unexpectedly, Shangguanxi was so smart, not foolish at all. Relations between girls are very simple. After chatting for more than half an hour, they established a profound revolutionary friendship, and after work, they even went out to eat dinner together. At the Wu family. Wu Yenyun had been taking cold medicine for 5 days, but rather than getting better, her cold had gotten worse. She had developed a ring of blisters around her mouth, bright red and frightful to behold. Moreover, because of tonsillitis, she couldn't eat anything solid and could only consume liquid foods, causing her to progressively lose weight. Her symptoms were becoming less and less like a common cold, but when she went to the hospital for a checkup, the doctors all said it was just a cold. "Xiaoyun, are you still in a lot of pain?" Yan Erju looked at Wu Yenyun with reddening eyes. Wu Yenyun shook her head. Not only could she not eat, but she also couldn't speak. It was extremely uncomfortable. But to keep her parents from worrying, she could only say she wasn't in pain. Wu Jinshu hadn't been to the construction site for a day. Seeing Wu Yenyun like this, he was troubled. "I heard Yang Yang is good at medicine. Why don't we have Yang Yang come and check on Yenyun?" Upon hearing this, Wu Yenyun grabbed Wu Jinshu's wrist tightly, shaking her head vigorously. She didn't want it. Even if she were to die, she wouldn't want Ni Yang's treatment. Wu Jinshu sighed. "Yenyun, at a time like this, you shouldn't be stubborn. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know to report so we can fix it as soon as possible." Chapter 1051, Solving Difficulties, Killing 2 Birds with 1 Stone, 11 more updates, don't want. She didn't want Ni Yang's treatment. She just didn't believe that if there wasn't Ni Yang, she wouldn't be able to live. Wu Yanyun's emotions suddenly became agitated, and she abruptly sat up, pulling out the 4 from her right forearm. Although she couldn't speak now, she could prove her determination through her actions to her family. Wu Jinshu and Yan Erju were startled. All right. I'll just tell Yang not to come over then. Yenyun, don't be angry, don't be angry. Hearing Wu Jinshu say this, Wu Yenyun finally calmed down and lay back on the bed again, exhaling deeply. She didn't know what was wrong with herself, it was just a viral flu, but it felt worse than someone suffering from tuberculosis. Was she really going to die? No. She wouldn't. It was just a flu, she would get better. She would get better. Wu Yenyun clenched the bedsheets under her, her eyes filled with determination. Yen Erju went to find the nurse. Wu Jinshu sat in front of the bed, sighing with worry. Ni Yang had arranged to go shopping with Han Xiaoyu today, but after waiting a long time at the agreed place, Xiaoyu hadn't shown up, so she reluctantly drove to the Han family's home. Is Xiaoyu home? Ni Yang knocked on the door. Yang is here. Han Xiaoyu saw Ni Yang and apologetically said, I'm sorry, Yang, something came up at home, and I was so rushed that I forgot we had planned to meet today. Ni Yang smiled and said, it's okay, but is everything okay at your place? Han Xiaoyu sighed, the factory closed down, and my parents are unemployed. Ni Yang was startled, then remembered that with the progression of the era and the increase in private businesses, this period was indeed seeing the first wave of layoffs. It was also a time when many unemployed workers ventured into business, becoming the millionaires and billionaires of later generations. But for many, unemployment made life difficult. The Han family had 3 children, all dependent on their parents working at the factory. Now, with both parents unemployed, it was indeed woeful. I remember your dad was the factory manager, right? Ni Yang said. Yes, Han Xiaoyu nodded. Now all institutions are cutting back on staff, and my parents were out yesterday looking for work but found nothing suitable. It was mainly because Han's parents had high standards, and ordinary jobs outside their interests. A thought flashed through Ni Yang's mind, I actually have 2 suitable jobs for your uncle and aunt. Really? Han Xiaoyu's eyes lit up. Really? Ni Yang nodded. Han Xiaoyu smiled and said, then come in and let's talk about it. If my parents hear this, they'll definitely be very happy. Ni Yang followed Han Xiaoyu inside. As there were visitors, Han's father and mother graciously welcomed them out. Yang is here. Hello, uncle and aunt, Ni Yang politely greeted. This was Han's father's first meeting with Ni Yang. Are you Xiaoyu's classmate Ni Yang who topped the exams? Ni Yang nodded, yes, uncle, that's me. Han's father, who had always heard Xiaoyu talk about Ni Yang, was finally seeing her in person today. After all, she was the top scholar, a status that, in ancient times, would have meant taking up a high official position immediately. Han's father said with a smile, please sit, the home is modest, don't mind it. Han Xiaoyu went to make tea for Ni Yang. Ni Yang continued, uncle, aunt, I heard from Xiaoyu that you've been looking for work recently, is that right? Han's father was initially stunned, then said, yes. Ni Yang said, I have a job here, do you want to give it a try? Han's father's eyes brightened, really? Ni Yang nodded. Han's father then asked, what kind of work do you want to offer us? Do you think the 2 of us can handle it? I heard from Xiaoyu that uncle, you were previously a factory manager, and aunt was in factory finance, right? Yes. Ni Yang smiled and said, then I will hire you as the factory manager and aunt as the finance manager. The factory was almost built, and the workers were mostly recruited, but they still lacked a factory manager and a finance manager. It just so happened that Ni Yang was worried about finding an experienced factory manager, which solved an urgent need for her. It solved not only Ni Yang's urgent need but also the Han family's. It was a win-win situation. Helping oneself can also help others. Upon hearing this, Mr. Han was shocked. Yang, you're not joking with me, are you? Factory manager? Mr. Han had never imagined that one day he would become a factory manager. Could one become the head of a factory that easily? Mr. Han felt that this matter was a bit unreliable. Although Ni Yang was the top scholar in the nation, she was only an 18 or 19-year-old kid. Could she really manage a factory? Ni Yang shook her head with a smile. Why would I joke with you? Mr. Han continued, then where is this factory you are talking about? What does the factory produce? Ni Yang said, to be honest, the factory is my own. Her own factory? Not only Mr. Han was stunned, but so were Han Xiaoyu and Mrs. Han. Was she just boasting? Words alone aren't proof, so let's do this, I'll take you to the factory for a tour. Ni Yang stood up. Considering her age, owning her own factory was indeed incredible. It was normal for Mr. and Mrs. Han to be skeptical. Thus, Ni Yang decided to take them to Jianghu village to clear up their doubts. I'll go get the bicycle, Mr. Han said. Ni Yang smiled, no need to ride a bicycle. I came by car today. Driving? Han Xiaoyu grabbed Ni Yang's arm. Oh my god, Yang, you drove here? Is it one of those four-wheel sedans? Ni Yang nodded, yes. Han Xiaoyu swallowed hard. Han Xiaoyu had always known that Ni Yang came from a well-off family, but she had no idea it was to this extent. A sedan. Ordinary families found it hard to even buy a bicycle, yet Ni Yang already had a sedan. Mr. and Mrs. Han exchanged glances, also seeing disbelief in each other's eyes. Could the child be playing a trick on them? Only when they all followed Ni Yang out, and sat in the ordinary-looking but luxurious sedan, did they believe that Ni Yang was not lying. Han Xiaoyu, sitting in the passenger seat, exclaimed with excitement, Yang. You're so amazing. You can even drive a car. Oh my goodness. Don't laugh, but this is my first time in a sedan. Before long, the car entered Jianghu village. Han Xiaoyu asked, Yang, does your family live here? Yes, this is Jianghu village. Han Xiaoyu said in amazement, your village is so nice. They even installed street lights. It's like the city, not like a village at all. Mr. and Mrs. Han nodded in agreement. Who would believe this was a rural area if they hadn't seen it with their own eyes? It wasn't long before they arrived at the factory. The factory had already been under construction for 2 months. The framework had already emerged because it covered a large area, making it look very imposing. There were about 10 more days to the New Year holiday, so the workers were working extra hard these days. Ni Yang treated them so well, they couldn't let the New Year delay the construction schedule. Seeing Ni Yang coming, everyone greeted her enthusiastically. It was evident from everyone's attitude that Ni Yang was very popular. Uncle and auntie, this side is the production workshop, this side is the dormitory for the workers, this side is the canteen, and over here is the shower room. Seeing this scene with their own eyes, Mr. and Mrs. Han no longer had any doubts. Ni Yang then discussed her plans with Mr. and Mrs. Han. After all, Mr. Han had been a factory manager for over a decade and offered several valuable suggestions to Ni Yang. Meanwhile, the look in Mr. Han's eyes toward Ni Yang changed. Although Ni Yang was only a teenager, her knowledge and experience were far beyond that of her peers, even beyond what he could match. This was truly impressive. After they toured the factory, Ni Yang took Mr. and Mrs. Han to the Ni family home. Han Xiaoyu said, Yang, this is your house? Ni Yang nodded. Your home is really beautiful. There was heating in the living room on the first floor. Ni Yang took off her coat as they entered. Uncle and auntie, Xiaoyu, please have a seat. The nanny immediately went to make tea. Han Xiaoyu looked around the Ni family's living room, her eyes full of astonishment. She finally understood how Granny Lu felt when she entered the Grand View Garden. Ni Yang continued, Uncle and auntie, the factory is expected to start operations after the second month of the new year. Regarding the salaries, the factory manager will get 280 yuan per month, and the financial manager will get 98 yuan. Such high salaries. Mr. Han was taken aback. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know to report so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 1052, Meta Benefactor, 12 more updates. You should know that before this, Han's father's salary was only 128 yuan a month. Ni Yang's salary was nearly more than double the previous amount. Ni Yang said with a smile, "This is just the starting salary. After half a year, it will increase by 100 yuan, and another 100 yuan after a full year. After 15 years, there will even be a car reward." Ni Yang never skimped when it came to treating employees. Moreover, the greater the employee turnover, the greater the damage to a company. A truly good company has a very low resignation rate, practically none at all. Upon hearing this, Han's father's eyes widened in disbelief. Is that true or false? Ni Yang nodded. If you and Auntie think it's suitable, let's find a time to sign the contract. Suitable. Of course, it's suitable. With such good treatment, only a fool would disagree. At Ni Yang's warm invitation, Han's father and mother stayed in the Ni family house for dinner that evening. After dinner, Ni Yang drove them home. That very night, Ni Yang drafted the contract, and the next day he went to the Han family's home to have the contract signed. After Ni Yang left, Han's father looked at Han Xiaoyu with a loving face. "Xiaoyu, you've really met your benefactor this time." Ni Yang was so impressive that Han Xiaoyu also felt honored. "That's right, I've told you before, Yang is very amazing." Han's mother stood up and said, Yang has been gracious to our family. Our family must not forget this kindness in the future." "Your mother is right," agreed Han's father with a nod. Han Xiaoyu smiled and said, "Don't worry, Mom and Dad, even if I forget someone, I won't forget Yang." Meanwhile, Wu Yanyan's condition was getting more severe, and she had fallen into a coma, which led the doctor to suggest a transfer to another hospital. Wu Jinshu and Yen Erju were very anxious, and they transferred Wu Yenyun to the city hospital overnight. The conclusion from the city hospital was also that it was a cold. With reddened eyes, Yen Erju said, "How could it be a cold? If it were really just a cold, it wouldn't be this serious." As she spoke, Yen Erju turned to look at Wu Jinshu and continued, "Why don't you go to Yang anyway?" Wu Jinshu frowned, but Yenyun, if Wu Yenyun found out, who knew how she might react? Yen Erju said, "We're losing her life here. Why care about all that now?" "All right. I'll go." Wu Jinshu went to the Ni family's house overnight. The snow was flying outside. When Ni Yang opened the door, Wu Jinshu was covered with a layer of snow, including his eyebrows which were all white. Ni Yang almost didn't recognize him. Yang. Godfather? Why have you come? Please, come in quickly." Wu Jinshu followed Ni Yang inside. Once inside, Ni Yang poured a cup of hot milk tea for Wu Jinshu. "Godfather, have some hot drink first to warm up your body." Wu Jinshu rubbed his frozen hands and immediately took the milk tea, drinking it in one gulp. "Godfather, it's so late. You must have come to see me for something urgent?" Ni Yang said. Wu Jinshu nodded. "It's about Yenyun, she's fallen ill. Yang, you must save her." Ni Yang was taken aback. "Godfather, don't panic, take it slow and tell me." On the other side, Ni Tsuehua and Shengwan Dehui, hearing the noise, also came down from upstairs. After hearing the whole story, Ni Tsuehua was very nervous. "How is Yenyun now?" "She's okay, right?" No matter what, that was her daughter, she couldn't remain unmoved. Furthermore, Ni Tsuehua still felt guilty inside. Wu Jinshu sighed, the situation is very bad now, otherwise, I wouldn't have come looking for Yang Yang. Ni Yang put down the cup and looked up at Wu Jinshu, Godfather, the reason you didn't come before was because Yenyun wouldn't let you, right? It could be heard from Wu Jinshu's words that Wu Yanyun's illness had been dragging on for a long time. If Wu Yenyun hadn't stopped him, Wu Jinshu and Yen Erju would not have waited until Wu Yenyun had already fallen into a coma before coming to find her. Thus, Ni Yang could guess that previously, Wu Yenyun had stopped Wu Jinshu from coming over. Wu Jinshu was silent. Because Ni Yang had hit the nail on the head about the true circumstances. On the other hand, who would want to get involved in such a thankless task? If Ni Yang saved Wu Yenyun and she recovered, what would happen if rather than being grateful, she blamed Ni Yang for meddling in her affairs? Wu Jinshu sighed softly. Now, even if Ni Yang truly ignored Wu Yenyun, he had no right to blame him. Forget it. They would think of other methods. Ni Tsuhua was also stunned. Having been preoccupied with worrying about Wu Yenyun, she had overlooked this point. Ni Yang then said, saving a life is urgent, Godfather, let's go. Wu Jinshu was startled. He hadn't expected Ni Yang to come up with such a statement suddenly. He had even been prepared for Ni Yang to refuse. Unexpectedly, Ni Yang had agreed at this moment. Ni Yang said with a smile, I am a doctor. In the face of life and death, I cannot remain indifferent. It also goes against my teacher's admonitions. Besides, our Ni family owes Yenyun a life. This time, it's as if I am returning what our Ni family owes her. A life for a life. It was fair. In doing so, it would also make Ni Tsuhua feel better, so she wouldn't always feel as though she owed Wu Yenyun something. Once there was a sense of debt in one's heart, it would become a burden, and Ni Yang didn't want Ni Tsuhua to feel burdened. Wu Jinshu's eyes reddened, Yang Yang, thank you. Ni Yang put on his coat, donned his scarf, let's go. I'll go with you, said Ni Tsuhua. I'm coming too, said Shengguan Dehui. When several people arrived at the hospital and saw Wu Yanyun's condition, Ni Yang was also taken aback. Because Wu Yanyun's situation was quite serious. If he hadn't seen it with his own eyes, it would be difficult to associate her with the lively Wu Yenyun of before. Ni Qihua's eyes immediately reddened, and she leaned on Shengguan Dehui's shoulder, gently sobbing. It's okay, Dia, Yenyun will definitely be fine, Shengguan Dehui consoled her. Ni Yang sat down to take Wu Yanyun's pulse. After a long while, she finally released Wu Yanyun's wrist. Ni Tsuhua hurriedly asked, how is she, Yang Yang? Ni Yang said, don't worry, it's not a big problem. That's good, Ni Tsuhua breathed a sigh of relief. Then what's wrong with Xiaoyun? Yen Erju asked. Ni Yang said, it's a viral cold caused by an allergic reaction. I'll give her some acupuncture first, and then after taking 2 doses of traditional Chinese medicine, she should be fine. Is it really just a cold? Wu Jinshu was somewhat surprised because the hospital treatment had not been effective, and they had thought it was not a cold. Ni Yang nodded, it's a cold, but it's quite different from a regular cold. It's a sequelae of external allergies, so common cold medicines are not only ineffective but can also aggravate the condition. If it were any later, the problem would have been rather tricky. Ni Yang wasn't exaggerating. If it had been delayed another day or two, and the virus had invaded the heart and lungs, Wu Yenyun would have been beyond saving. It was also her fate not to die yet. Yen Erju wiped her tears and said, this child is so stubborn. Your godfather has been saying we should have you come take a look, but she just wouldn't agree. Otherwise, it wouldn't have dragged on this long. Godmother, don't worry. I'm going to give Yenyun acupuncture right now. After the acupuncture, she can be discharged. I'm going to talk to Yenyun's chief doctor to see if he can arrange a sterile room for us. After all, this was in a hospital. If acupuncture were done recklessly in the ward, there could be a risk of infection. Wu Yanyan's chief doctor was an old doctor in his 50s. After hearing what Ni Yang had to say, he immediately arranged a sterile room for her. Finally, he asked, "Young lady, is your name Ni Yang?" Ni Yang nodded, "Yes." "So you're the divine doctor who cured Mr. Abner's mother's stubborn illness?" "Wow! I've finally met the real person today." The doctor excitedly shook Ni Yang's hand. Mr. Abner's mother's illness had seen countless big hospitals, but no doctor was sure they could cure her. However, not long ago, Mr. Abner's mother unexpectedly recovered fully. This could be described as a medical miracle. And the person who cured her was just a girl in her teens named Ni Yang. From then on, Ni Yang was called the Divine Doctor by scholars in the medical field and became a legend in the field. Before Ni Yang could say anything, the old doctor continued, "Right, Divine Doctor, when you do the acupuncture later, can I let our hospital's doctors observe and learn from the side? Ancient medicine is a legend of China. If it could be integrated with Western medicine, it would surely benefit mankind. A doctor's heart is benevolent." Ni Yang was never a stingy person, of course, no problem. The old doctor didn't expect Ni Yang to agree so readily and said stunned, "Then thank you, Divine Doctor. I'll go tell everyone now. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know to report so we can fix it as soon as possible." Chapter 1053, Completely Give Up, 13th Update. Although Ni Yang was performing acupuncture on Wu Yanyan with many doctors standing by, she was not nervous at all. She remained as composed as ever. Her movements in inserting the needles were smooth and flowing, and from a distance, there was even a hint of an artistic martial flair. The doctors watching were dumbfounded. If they hadn't seen it with their own eyes, who would believe that a teenager could be so skilled? After more than 2 hours of acupuncture, Wu Yanyan's condition gradually improved, and her originally pale face started to turn rosy, with the blisters on the corner of her mouth also shrinking. While they hadn't completely disappeared, they were at least not as disturbing as in the beginning. Ancient medicine is truly miraculous. Our ancestors' legacy is indeed marvelous, isn't it? After the acupuncture session, Wu Yanyan was taken out, and Ni Yang was surrounded by a group in the middle, answering various medical questions. Although she was younger than everyone present, her aura was not the least bit diminished. With confident eyes and sophisticated speech, she provided the most professional answers to the most complicated problems, earning everyone's genuine admiration. Ni Yang's tone was neither fast nor slow, perfect for the doctors to take notes. One of the female doctors felt more and more familiar with Ni Yang as she watched. "Little Divine Doctor, you're the national top scholar of this year, aren't you?" Ni Yang had appeared on television 3 times this year, so anyone who had seen the news would have some impression of her. Ni Yang nodded with a smile, "Yes." The female doctor covered her mouth and exclaimed, "Oh my! Oh my! I knew you looked familiar. So you are the national top scholar Ni Yang, right? My child adores you. Could you give me an autograph?" "Of course." The female doctor was thrilled to death, passing her notebook to Ni Yang. "Little Divine Doctor, please sign here. My child is taking the college entrance exam next year. Ever since he saw your news, he's been so much more diligent in studying, and even says he wants to be the top scholar too." As Ni Yang took the notebook, she asked, "What's your child's name?" "Chen Haoran, Haoran as in the great poet Meng Haoran." Ni Yang nodded and wrote on the notebook, "Through a decade of toiling over books under a cold window, all in hope of being honored on the list of success, wishing student Wang Haoran leaps through the dragon gate like a carp. December 20, 1985. Signed, Ni Yang." The characters Ni Yang wrote were powerful yet unrestrained, impressively beautiful. The female doctor received the notebook with both hands. Thank you, little divine doctor. Our child will be so happy to see this. You're welcome, Ni said with a slight smile. When she returned to the ward, Ni was surprised to see Ni Tsuehua and Shengwan Dehui standing outside, and asked, Mom and Dad, why are you standing outside? It was winter, and the corridor was so cold. Ni Tsuehua sighed, looking somewhat upset. Well, Yenyun has woken up. Has she started making a fuss again? Ni spoke in an indifferent tone, her rhetorical question sounding more like a statement. Ni Tsuehua nodded. Not only had Wu Yenyun made a fuss, but the words she uttered were particularly nasty. Very hurtful. Ni Tsuehua couldn't bear to hear them, and she thought that if Ni heard them, she probably couldn't bear them either. Ni Yang's eyes remained indifferent. Let her fuss. What's out of sight is out of mind. After all, we don't owe her anything anymore. Ni had long been disappointed in this sister. Wu Yanyan's reaction after waking up was also within her expectations, so she was not surprised at all. Shengwan Dehui nodded. Yang is right, Dia, we don't owe Yenyun anything anymore, and you don't have to feel guilty either. Whether as her mother or as Ni being her sister, you both have done very well. You don't owe her anything. There's no need to always indulge her. In Shengwan Dehui's view, Wu Yenyun truly lacked any sense of gratitude. If she had even a shred of gratitude, she wouldn't have treated Ni Tsuehua like this today. By now, Ni Tsuehua had also come to a realization. From now on, she would act as if she had never given birth to this daughter. Just then, Wu Jinshu came out of the ward, his face filled with shame as he said, Yang, Dad Yang, Mom Yang, I'm so sorry. It's our fault for not raising our child properly. Even though Wu Jinshu had been mentally prepared, he still didn't expect Wu Yanyan's reaction to be so extreme. She was not only ungrateful but turned out to be a wolf in sheep's clothing. Aside from apologizing, Wu Jinshu could think of no other solution. Sigh. Just then, a vase was thrown from inside and smashed against the door. Crash! It shattered to pieces. Without a doubt, it was Wu Yenyun who had thrown the vase, and the situation inside the ward must have been very bad. Wu Jinshu's brow twitched, and his feelings of guilt intensified. Ni shook her head and handed Wu Jinshu a piece of paper. Godfather, this is the prescription. I've written down the specific dosages and how to brew it. Just follow the instructions, and if you have any problems, you can contact me. She now had no relationship with Wu Yenyun, so whatever Wu Yenyun did, she wouldn't be upset. Sister or not, she wasn't worth it. Wu Jinshu said, Yang, thank you. I will talk to Yenyun and persuade her well. Ni smiled and said, no need to persuade her anymore. You and Godmother raised Yenyun to adulthood, and both my mom and I really appreciate it. Unfortunately, Yenyun and I are not fated to be sisters, and she is not fated to be my mother's daughter either. From now on, I'll just act as if I don't have this sister. This was probably the first time Ni had spoken so harshly in front of Wu Jinshu. After a pause, Ni continued, but rest assured, I still hold firm to what I said before, you and Godmother will always be my godparents. After all, Wu Jinshu and Yen Erju saved Wu Yenyun, and that made them benefactors of the Ni family. Wu Yenyun could choose not to acknowledge that. But the people who saved Wu Yenyun could not go unrecognized. No matter what, one shouldn't live without a conscience. Wu Jinshu's eyes reddened, suddenly at a loss for words. Ni was too sensible to the point where it made him feel guilty. If only Wu Yenyun could be a little sensible too, then he wouldn't be in such a difficult position. Actually, Wu Yenyun used to be very obedient and well-behaved. He didn't know when she had changed into what she was now. Ni went on, Yenyun has just woken up, so it's not good for her to get too agitated. You should go in and calm her down. Nothing is more important than her life. We will be heading back. Wu Jinshu insisted on escorting Ni Yang and her company out of the hospital. After getting into the car, Ni Yang asked, "Mom, now that Yen Yun is no longer connected to our family, can you really let go of her?" Ni Tsuhua looked out the window with a relieved smile. "Just like you said, there's no mother-daughter fate between us. A melon forced is not sweet, let it go, I've come to terms with it." Now that her heart was unburdened, Ni Tsuhua didn't owe Wu Yenyun anything anymore. "It eases my mind to hear you say that." As time went by, the year-end was rapidly approaching. Today was the 28th of the 12th lunar month, and the day after tomorrow would be Chinese New Year's Eve. Since the new year was just around the corner, Ni Yang had closed all of the pure jade skin stores and gave all the employees a 10-day holiday. In addition, she gave them a lot of New Year's gifts. Even though pure jade skin could earn a lot in a single day, she knew money was never-ending. To Chinese people, celebrating the new year is of utmost importance, and she didn't want the employees to think of her as an inhumane boss. Besides, there's no end to earning money, it doesn't matter if she earns a bit more or less. Additionally, the Heavenly Fragrance restaurant also ceased operation for 10 days. They would resume work on the 8th day of the new lunar year. During these days, Wu Yanyun's health also improved day by day. Yen Erju smiled and said, "Yenyun, you owe a lot to Yang Yang. Without her, you might still be lying in that hospital bed." At the mention of Ni Yang, the smile on Wu Yanyun's face suddenly faded. "If she hadn't meddled, maybe I would have recovered a long time ago." "Yenyun. Did I say something wrong?" Wu Yenyun turned to look at Yen Erju. "Mom, don't forget, Ni Yang is just a doctor. Maybe all of this was a scheme she cooked up with the doctor. She wants me to be grateful to her. She wants me to forgive her." But Ni Yang nearly cost her her life. Why should she forgive Ni Yang? She would never forgive Ni Yang. Yen Erju continued, "Yenyun, you have too many misunderstandings about Yang Yang. She's not that kind of person and she would never do such a thing. It was her who did this." Wu Yenyun continued, "Firstly, she wanted to kill me because she was jealous of me, she was afraid I would compete with her for the inheritance. Secondly, she wanted to use this incident to make me forgive her. It's simply killing two birds with one stone. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know to report so we can fix it as soon as possible." Mo Hudi nodded vigorously. Right, Sister Ni Yang, I'm now 1.50 meters. I grew more than 10 centimeters in the second half of the year. The heating in the Mo family's house was very warm, and as soon as Ni Yang entered, she took off her coat, which Mo Chishan smoothly took from her, draping it over his arm. "Yang Yang is here." Hearing the noise, Old Master Mo and Old Madam Mo came out from inside the house. "Uncle, Auntie," Ni Yang greeted politely. "You've lost weight, you're thinner again," Old Madam Mo said, holding Ni Yang's hand. "Is it because you've been under too much stress lately?" Ni Yang shook her head with a smile. "No, maybe I just naturally don't gain weight." Another reason was dietary therapy. Having stuck with it for so long, how could there not be any effect at all? But in the eyes of the older generation, being able to eat well is a blessing, and being chubby is even more so. Therefore, Ni Yang didn't mention the dietary therapy. Old Madam Mo said, "You look so skinny, those legs, and your waist, Chishan could break it with just one hand. Yang Yang, you need to eat more. Only by eating more can you put on weight." Mo Kishan's gaze was indifferent. Although Ni Yang looked thin, her figure was very well proportioned. Where she should be slim, there wasn't an ounce of excess fat, and where she shouldn't be slim, she wasn't the slightest bit underweight. Thinking this, A deep color pooled in the depth of Mo Kishan's eyes, and he quickly averted his gaze, suppressing the jumble of thoughts at the back of his mind, picked up a cup from the table, and downed the cold water inside in one go. During dinner, Grandma Mo kept piling meat into Ni Yang's bowl. Ni Yang, unable to refuse the kindness, would pass the uneaten portions into Mo Kishan's bowl. Whether she had touched them or not, all of it ended up in Mo Kishan's bowl. Mo Kishan wasn't picky and accepted everything wholeheartedly. Most importantly, he seemed to really enjoy it. Seeing the affection between the young couple, both Grandpa Mo and Grandma Mo felt relieved. After the meal, Ni Yang and Grandma Mo chatted, while Grandpa Mo pulled Mo Kishan aside. "Dad, did you want to see me about something?" Without saying another word, Grandpa Zheng took out 2 cards from his pocket and stuffed them into Mo Kishan's pocket. "Take these." "What are you doing?" Mo Kishan was taken aback. "I'm giving you money." Grandpa Zheng looked at Mo Kishan as if he were looking at a fool. Mo Kishan helplessly handed back the cards to Grandpa Zheng. "Dad, I'm not short on money right now." "Nonsense." Grandpa Zheng's face hardened. Nowadays, young people need money for dining out, dating, attending concerts, watching movies. Doesn't each of these require money? I remember it's been a long time since your mother and I have given you money, right? You rascal, why act with pretension with your own parents? Just say if you are short on cash. You can't expect Yang Yang to support you. At this, Grandpa Mo landed a kick on Mo Kishan's foot. "Dad!" Mo Kishan exclaimed, "Are you serious? I am your own son." Grandpa Mo said proudly, "If you weren't my own son, you wouldn't enjoy this kind of special treatment." Mo Kishan, Grandpa Mo went on, "If you're running low on cash, just let me know. Don't even think about saving money when dating. Our family is wealthy, and you don't need to save. Take the money." "I really don't need money." Grandpa Mo glared at Mo Kishan, gruffly saying, "If you say you don't need money one more time, they'll break your legs." Mo Kishan, fine, he would just keep his mouth shut. The father and son were talking at the stairwell turn, and just at that moment, Xiao Yingying happened to be coming downstairs and saw everything. A sneer curled the corner of Xiao Yingying's mouth. This Mo Kishan was really too pathetic. How old was he, still taking money from his family? Mud is mud, it could never be put on the wall. Xiao Yingying shook her head, shedding the sneer from her face, and walked past the 2 men. Seeing Xiao Yingying, Mo Kishan frowned slightly. Why hasn't she left yet? Grandpa Mo said indifferently, "It seems like Baichuan's aunt and uncle went abroad for a vacation, so she hasn't left yet. In the end, one more person is just another pair of chopsticks. Don't bother about her." Mo Kishan kept an impassive face and said no more. Xiao Yingying went straight to the living room and saw Ni Yang there. The mocking look in her eyes, which had faded, now re-emerged. She used to be so jealous of Ni Yang, but she wasn't the least bit jealous anymore. So what if Ni Yang was pretty? Being beautiful didn't change the fact that she was marrying a loser like Mo Kishan. Xiao Yingying didn't even want to greet them and left the Mo family's living room, just in time to run into Mo Baichuan and Zhao Jingrong at the entrance. "Cousin Yingying, where are you going?" asked Mo Baichuan. "I'm going to the department store to buy some stuff," said Xiao Yingying, and as if she had just remembered something, she pulled Mo Baichuan aside, lowering her voice arrogantly. "Cousin, let me ask you something." "Go ahead." Xiao Yingying continued, "Chinese New Year is around the corner. Will Mr. Mog come here to celebrate?" Mo Baichuan sighed. "Yingying, how many times do I have to tell you? I don't know Mr. Mog. I really don't." Why did everyone think he knew Mr. Mog? Xiao Yingying said disbelievingly, "Cousin, stop lying to me. I'm your cousin." No matter if you beat Xiao Yingying to death, she wouldn't believe that Mo Baichuan didn't know Mr. Mog. If Mo Baichuan didn't know Mr. Mog, then Mr. Mogg wouldn't have brought a gift to Grandma Mo's birthday banquet. Did they think she was a fool? Xiao Yingying went on, cousin, just tell me. I swear I'll keep it secret. I won't tell anyone. Knowing when Mr. Mogg would come over, she could also dress up and prepare. Yingying, Mo Baichuan said with a frown, stop messing around. Xiao Yingying pouted, don't tell me then. It's not a big deal. If not, she would just dress up beautifully every day after the new year. That way, Mr. Mogg would see the most perfect her. A faint smile crossed Zhao Jingrong's lips, her eyes filled with smugness. Perhaps Xiao Yingying could never dream that Mo Baichuan was Mr. Mogg. She looked forward to seeing Xiao Yingying's reaction when she found out the truth. By then, the scene would certainly be very exciting. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know to report so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 1055, Boss Tricks Yang, 15 updates. Zhao Jingrong became increasingly smug and walked up to Mo Baichuan, whispering softly, Baichuan, let's go inside. Mo Baichuan nodded and followed Zhao Jingrong inside. Hiss. Just then, a sharp pain shot through Zhao Jingrong's hand. Why was he suddenly using so much strength? Zhao Jingrong turned to look at Mo Baichuan, only to see his gaze fixed on the sofa in the living room. There were two people sitting on the sofa. It was Ni Yang and Mo Qishan. Mo Qishan was peeling an orange for Ni Yang, who was eating it and talking to Mo Qishan, a faint smile spilling over her lips, her eyes clear and bright, dimples shallow, a beauty almost like jade. How beautiful was Ni Yang! Beautiful enough to make Zhao Jingrong, a self-important heiress, feel utterly astounded. Every encounter with her was dazzling. Ni Yang was so beautiful, and she was interested in Mo Qishan, that loser? Could it be that her intentions were not on the surface? Zhao Jingrong narrowed her eyes slightly, subtly withdrawing her gaze from Ni Yang and turning towards Mo Baichuan. She now had an intuition that Ni Yang had come for Mo Baichuan. Yes. It must be so. How could she do this? Ni Yang was shameless. Mo Baichuan was her boyfriend. She wouldn't allow anyone to steal him away. Zhao Jingrong tightened her grip on Mo Baichuan's hand, determined to keep a close watch on him from now on. Uncle Six, Mo Baichuan greeted Mo Qishan respectfully as he walked over. Uncle Six, Miss Ni, Zhao Jingrong also greeted, following behind. Mo Qishan lifted his eyelids slightly, Ni Yang nodded politely at Zhao Jingrong. Although there were some grievances between her and Zhao Jingrong, she was, after all, an elder, and elders naturally behave generously. Why bother with a junior? Zhao Jingrong smiled and said, Miss Ni hasn't come with Uncle Six for a while, right? Yes, Ni Yang nodded slightly. Your Uncle Six has been busy lately, he only just found time at the end of the year. Busy? Busy with what? Busy turning into a loser? Those words, only Ni Yang could utter them without biting her tongue. Zhao Jingrong almost laughed out loud, the mocking expression in her eyes growing more apparent. Seems Uncle Six is indeed a very busy man, Zhao Jingrong said. Ni Yang was non-committal, as if she hadn't understood the implication in Zhao Jingrong's words. Zhao Jingrong continued, I wonder what Miss Ni has been busy with recently? Just casually keeping busy, said Ni Yang in a light tone. Zhao Jingrong smiled and said, they say birds of a feather flock together. Uncle Six is a busy man, and so is Miss Ni. But who stays busy just casually? Miss Ni must be busy with some great enterprise, right? The sentence was laden with heavy irony. Other than being beautiful, what other merits did Ni Yang possess? Though she was the Zheng family's long-lost daughter, she was born a peasant, a true country bumpkin. How many notable ladies did she know in this circle? Compared with her, Ni couldn't even match a single strand of her hair. Zhao Jingrong intended to make Ni lose all face in front of Mo Baichuan thoroughly, to trample Ni underfoot completely, only thus could she ensure that Mo Baichuan wouldn't be seduced away by Ni. Otherwise, Zhao Jingrong always felt uneasy. Ni smiled faintly, lowering her eyes towards Zhao Jingrong, her dimples shallow. Jingrong, let's go eat fish sometime, you seem quite good at picking bones. Eat fish? Ni wanted to go with her to eat fish? Zhao Jingrong was initially stunned, then realized what Ni meant. Her face turned alternating shades of red and white, quite unsightly. Ni, this vixen. She dared to mock her. Although Zhao Jingrong was furious inside, she still maintained a smile on her face. Miss Ni really has a sense of humor. Ni Yang's eyes and brows were clear and sharp. Jingrong, you're too modest. Jingrong is young and tends to speak out of turn, not a match for Auntie Six. If she has been offensive, I hope Auntie Six will show some mercy. Mo Baichuan intervened, trying to defuse the situation for Zhao Jingrong. Why was Ni targeting Zhao Jingrong? It was just because Zhao Jingrong was his girlfriend. Ni was jealous of Zhao Jingrong. Mo Baichuan knew Ni too well, everything she did was for him. Including Ni Yang's visit to the Mo family today, it was because of him. Ni must have known that he would bring Zhao Jingrong home today, so she came back with Mo Qishan. However, Ni was still stubborn, not admitting she liked him. He really didn't know what she meant by playing hard to get. Ni knew Mo Baichuan's character well. She knew he must have fantasized about something again. She was really having a tough time. Ni rubbed her forehead, feeling somewhat headache. Mo Qishan spoke lightly, nephew, if we are talking about age, Yang is even 5 years younger than your girlfriend. As a junior, she should act like one, being young is no excuse for incompetence. That's true, Mo Baichuan swallowed his words. After his uncle spoke, Mo Baichuan continued, by the way, Uncle Six, Jingrong and I are planning to get engaged after the new year, he said, sneaking a glance at Ni Yang. Ni Yang looked indifferent, as if there were no particular emotions on her face. But Mo Baichuan knew Ni Yang hid all her feelings inside. Hearing this, Ni Yang must have felt extremely uncomfortable. Mo Qishan paused. At the beginning of the year, I heard you two were planning to get engaged. Why hasn't it been settled yet? These words made Zhao Jingrong feel uneasy too. Because at the beginning of the year, Mo Baichuan did mention it, but then he got busy with work and never brought it up again. Eventually, the matter was left unresolved. Now, Mo Baichuan brought it up again. Could it be that he was serious this time? Mo Baichuan smiled. Uncle Six has a good memory. I did mention it at the beginning of the year, but work got busy, and it was put off. Now that I have time after the new year, we plan to finalize everything during that time. Zhao Jingrong's expression brightened. Great! She finally saw the light after the long wait. Then let me congratulate you in advance, Mo Qishan said indifferently. Thank you, Uncle Six. Feeling a bit suffocated by the atmosphere downstairs and Mo Baichuan's odd looks, Ni Yang turned to Mo Qishan, Brother Mo, shall we go up to the Sky Garden for a walk? Sure, Mo Qishan nodded. Mo Baichuan watched Ni Yang's retreating figure, his eyes full of mockery. Was she unable to handle just an engagement announcement? What would happen on the day he and Zhao Jingrong got married? Yes, Ni Yang would definitely reveal her true colors then. He was looking forward to that day. On the top floor of the Mo family house, there was a transparent glasshouse filled with many flowers and plants. Despite it being winter, the glasshouse was blooming with flowers. Seeing the beautiful plants, Ni Yang's mood instantly improved. After walking out of the Sky Garden, Ni Yang and Mo Qishan played games in a room on the third floor. Because Ni Yang really didn't want to see that narcissistic Mo Baichuan. And with Zhao Jingrong speaking sarcastically, and the new year approaching, Ni Yang didn't want to let insignificant people affect her mood. Mo Qishan held a game controller in one hand and picked up a cigarette with the other. Click, the lighter sparked, filling the air with a faint smell of smoke. Yang, do you want one? Mo Qishan smiled at Ni Yang. No, Ni Yang spoke indifferently, smoking is bad for health, don't you know? Mo Qishan took a deep drag on his cigarette, then blew a beautiful smoke ring. Really don't want one? No, Ni Yang shook her head. Mo Qishan slightly raised his eyebrows. Before Ni Yang realized it, she was pressed down on the couch, a large shadow looming over her, his thin lips against hers, cool and tingling. He transferred all the smoke from his mouth into hers. The dense smoke hit her, and Ni Yang's eyes widened. He was too wicked. Using this trick. It was a long while before Mo Qishan let go of her, his tone low. Tasty? Getting skillful? Ni Yang slightly raised her eyebrows. It's all thanks to the boss training. Mo Qishan's thin lips parted lightly. Your face is truly thick. Ni Yang reached out and pinched Mo Qishan's cheek. Mo Qishan wrapped his arm around her waist, resting his chin on her shoulder. Yang, how come I just like you so much? Ni Yang smiled, men's mouths, deceiving devils. You like me now, but when I am old and faded, perhaps you won't like me anymore. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc. Please let us know to report so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 1056, Grasshoppers After Autumn Are Not to Be Feared. Chapter 16 Update. Mo Qishan looked at Ni Yang and said seriously, I want. No matter when, I will never change my heart, unless you reject me first. Really? Ni Yang slightly raised her eyebrows. Absolutely sincere, heaven and earth can witness. Ni Yang then said, I'm thirsty now, can you go downstairs and bring up my teacup? Right away. Mo Qishan immediately rose from the sofa and headed downstairs. Ni Yang had originally planned to return home in the afternoon, but after spending time with Mo Qishan, it suddenly became evening, so she ended up staying at the Mo family for dinner. Zhao Jingrong didn't go back either. Although old Madame Mo and old Master Mo did not like Zhao Jingrong, she was now Mo Baichuan's girlfriend, and since Mo Baichuan insisted on being with her, the elderly couple found it inappropriate to say anything. At the dinner table, Mo Baichuan brought up his engagement with Zhao Jingrong once again. Upon hearing this, old Master Mo looked up at Mo Baichuan. As long as you have thought it through, what about your parents, have you talked to them? He didn't want to persuade any more at this point. Because no amount of persuasion would be useful. Children and grandchildren have their own fortune. As long as his son and daughter-in-law were fine, he, as a grandfather, was fine too. Mo Baichuan nodded, don't worry, I have communicated everything with them. Old Master Mo said, as long as you have talked it through with them, just proceed with the arrangements when the time comes. Mo Baichuan was stunned for a moment, seemingly not expecting old Master Mo to be so easy to talk to. He thought old Master Mo would object. Zhao Jingrong sat shyly on the side, her heart sweet as if filled with honey. This was perfect. Finally, they had reached this day. Soon, she would be the envied Mrs. Mogg. After the meal, Mo Qishan prepared to take Ni Yang home. Just as the two of them were about to leave, Ni Yang suddenly remembered she had left something upstairs, thus, Mo Qishan went up to retrieve it while she went to the restroom. Coming out of the restroom, she was blocked by a tall figure. Ni Yang frowned slightly, looked up, and saw that it was Mo Baichuan. Seeing Mo Baichuan, Ni Yang felt overwhelmed. She didn't know why, although she hadn't done anything. Mo Baichuan always thought she liked him, self-confident without any reason. Mo Baichuan looked at Ni Yang and said, word by word, Ni Yang, I'm giving you one last chance. I'm about to get engaged to Jingrong. By then, even if you regret it, it'll be too late. He was giving himself a chance, and also giving Ni Yang a chance. He didn't want Ni Yang to have regrets. More importantly, he didn't want to have regrets himself. Ni Yang was astute, knowing that she was playing hard to get, yet he still fell for her irresistibly. Although Mo Baichuan didn't want to admit it, Ni Yang had indeed achieved her goal. Mo Baichuan, let me emphasize seriously one more time, I have no interest in you, not even a cent's worth. I only like your uncle Mo Qishan. Only him. Saying this, Ni Yang pointed to her head, if there's something wrong here, you should hurry to the hospital for a checkup. Don't fantasize all day, it's easy to develop a mental illness that way. Mo Baichuan's expression turned cold. Ni Yang, stop pretending. Is there any point in keeping up this act? Aren't you tired? Resisting the urge to curse, Ni Yang pushed Mo Baichuan away, her brow furrowed. Mo Baichuan, I'm now your uncle's girlfriend, and I will be your future aunt. Please show some respect in front of your elders. With that, Ni Yang walked outside. Mo Baichuan was a martial artist, and not many people could push him, yet Ni Yang had done it, seemingly without much effort. Mo Baichuan watched Ni Yang's retreating figure, licked his molars, his eyes filled with dangerous intent. If that was the case, he could only let Ni Yang regret it herself. He would definitely give Zhao Jingrong an enviable, grand wedding. Ni Yang arrived at the door just as Mo Qishan came down from upstairs. Yang, your bag. Ni Yang took the bag and got into the car with Mo Qishan. Big brother Mo, I think your nephew has a problem. Ni Yang had wanted to discuss this matter with Mo Qishan. After all, couples should be open and honest with each other, without any secrets. However, she was worried that if she spoke out, it might impact the relationship between Mo Qishan and Mo Baichuan. They say that beauty is a source of trouble, and she couldn't bear being a sinner. After careful consideration, Ni Yang decided not to mention it. As long as she kept her distance from Mo Baichuan, that would be enough. Mo Qishan dropped Ni Yang off at Jinghua village. Yang, it's too late now, so I won't go in. Tomorrow morning at 10:30, I'll come to pick you up. Pick me up to go where? Ni Yang asked, somewhat curious. The day after tomorrow is New Year's. Let's go to Brother Du's place tomorrow and have a look, Mo Qishan replied. Ni Yang curiously said, isn't he going back to Shanghai for the New Year? He's not going back. Mo Qishan said. Alright, Ni Yang nodded slightly, I got it. Today was the 29th of the 12th lunar month, and the Ni family was bustling with activity. Almost everyone had gathered around the stove to fry New Year's treats. Stuff like meatballs, radish balls, lotus root balls, and they had to steam the steamed buns. This was the first time she had tried making these things by hand. She was making them while simultaneously chatting with Ni Yang, and soon she had prepared a series of round, plump balls. Even Shengguan Su was sitting with his sisters, kneading dough. Old Lady Shengguan and Old Lady Zheng were in charge of the stove, one tending the fire and the other frying the balls. Ni Tsuehua and Shengguan Dehui had gone to rinse rice and wash vegetables. Close to the New Year holiday, not only had the factory workers taken time off, but the Ni family's nanny had also gone home for the holidays. Old Master Zheng was outside in the yard making a snowman with little Ni Yun. Old Master Zheng was usually quite serious, but he would instantly crack whenever he encountered little Ni Yun. When Mo Qishan arrived it was exactly 10:30, and upon seeing such a warm scene, he couldn't help but pick up his camera and take several photos. Yang, Mo Qishan called Ni Yang. Ni Yang glanced up and Mo Qishan took the opportunity to press the shutter. A flawless 365-degree angle photo was taken just like that. Brother-in-law, I want a photo too. Little Ni Yun huffed and puffed as she ran over, posing with a peace sign. Brother-in-law, I want a photo too. Duo, like a little parrot, flapped his wings and flew over as well. Once the photos were taken, Mo Qishan rolled up his sleeves and joined the team making the balls. Ni Yang, surprised, said, I thought we were going to Brother Du's place. Are we not going anymore? Well, go this afternoon. Oh. Ni Yang nodded. After lunch, Ni Yang and Mo Qishan left for the Du residence. You're going to Xiaodu's home, right? Here, take some steamed buns and lotus root balls with you. Old Lady Shengguan carried 2 bags to the car. Mo Qishan smiled and said, Grandma, you don't have to be so polite. You can buy these things outside. Old Lady Shengguan said, can those bought outside compare to ones made by hand? Take them. You can't get homemade ones outside. Then thank you, Grandma. Mo Qishan took the bags with both hands. Old Lady Shengguan smiled and said, why are you being so formal with me, child? Because of the new year, the streets were very congested, with a festive atmosphere everywhere, except for the Du residents. Du Jiaojiao had returned to Shanghai for the new year, Wang Ziki had also gone back to spend New Year's with his parents, and the remaining servants had taken leave as well, leaving old Mr. Du by himself. With the north wind carrying fallen leaves, the Du residence seemed exceptionally desolate. Upon entering, they immediately heard the sound of knocking on a wooden fish. Ni Yang secretly sneered, wondering if this man really wanted to become a monk. How could he spend every day reciting scriptures and worshipping Buddha? Didn't he get bored? Ni Yang was very curious how he persisted with it. A man in his 30s, yet living like a septuagenarian or octogenarian. Brother Du, Mo Qishan drew aside the bead curtain and went in. Old Mr. Du put down the wooden fish. Pei Ji has arrived. Brother Du, it's too lonely here. Why don't you come back with me for the new year? Mo Qishan suggested. Don't be mad, Depang. Ni Yang reached out and picked up Depang. One of these days, well, butcher that little dog and make stewed soup out of him. Duo said, murder is a crime. Ni Yang corrected, you're a bird. Your dog son. Duo said. Ni Yang, Shengguan she couldn't help but laugh on the side, this Duo is almost too clever for its own good. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know to report so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 1058, New Year's, Ruthlessly Torturing the Scumbag, 18th Update, in the evening. The villagers began to worship heaven and earth, burn paper money, and arrange offerings. The sky filled with the sounds of firecrackers, and Wu Chenjun instinctively covered Shengguan Zai's ears. To his surprise, Shengguan she did not refuse. Wu Chenjun covered Shengguan Zai's ears even tighter, a slight curve forming on his lips, truly wishing he could hold on forever like this. Of course, the highlight of New Year's Eve was the reunion dinner and the fireworks. This year, it was the first time for the elderly Mr. Zheng and Mrs. Zheng to spend the festival with the younger generation, and their red envelopes were not small, a thick stack when brought out. All the youngsters, including Wu Chenjun, received the same amount of money, without any favoritism or discrimination. After dinner, they went outside to set off fireworks. This was Shengguan Zai's first time spending New Year in the countryside, and it was an incredible feeling. The festive atmosphere in the countryside was very strong, quite different from the city. Like every year, Gooden led a bunch of kids to the Ni family to watch the fireworks. Ni Yang had prepared lots of sparklers and distributed several to each child. Shengguanxi reached out to Ni Yang, Yang, I want some too. Then I want some too, Wu Qinjun followed, stretching out his hand. Holding the sparklers, the two of them ran around and played with a group of kids, the rising smoke blurring everyone's smiling faces. Ni Yang stood aside, looking at this scene, her lips curling up into a smile. Yang. Despite the surrounding laughter, Ni Yang still heard that deep voice. Ni Yang turned her head slightly. She saw a tall figure approaching from the darkness, the burning sparkler in his hand illuminating his chiseled features, with the lights of countless homes becoming the background. Brother Mo, Ni Yang said, somewhat surprised to see Mo Qishan. Yang, Happy New Year. Ni Yang hugged Mo Qishan tightly, Happy New Year. After the fireworks, everyone gathered again around the fire. Gooden brought over some sweet potatoes from home, and everyone chatted while eating the steaming baked sweet potatoes. Mo Qishan had also prepared New Year's money for each child and quietly handed out the red envelopes to all the kids. Then, he stealthily pulled an extra-large red envelope from his pocket and slipped it into Ni Yang's hand. Yang, this is for you. Ni Yang was somewhat surprised, I get one too? Of course. Yours is the most unique and the biggest. Thank you, Brother Mo. Ni Yang earnestly tucked the red envelope into her pocket. I want one too. I want one too. Duo circled above their heads, Happy New Year. Give me a red envelope. Mo Qishan took out another red envelope and handed it to Duo. Duo was thrilled, hurriedly saying, Thank you, boss. Thank you, boss, and then flew away with the red envelope. Shengguan Su looked at Shengguanxi and Wu Qinjun, then at Ni Yang and Mo Qishan, and finally at himself, suddenly feeling a love-struck blow of 10,000 points. It seemed it was time for him to find a girlfriend too. Otherwise, life was just unbearable. On the first day of the new year, Ni Yang, as usual, went hiking with Mo Qishan. They also burnt incense at Niuwang Temple. In Beijing, there is a custom that one should not go out on the second day of the first lunar month, so on the third day, Ni Yang and Mo Qishan went to pay a New Year visit to the Wang family. Since the Lantern Festival, Wu Yenyun had been waiting at the door every day, waiting for Ni Yang and others to come and pay a visit. She knew that someone from the Ni family would definitely come. Because they still wanted to seek her forgiveness. When they arrived, she planned to harshly humiliate them, especially Ni Yang. How dare they come to pay a visit after throwing her away as a child? Ridiculous. But she waited for 3 days, and no one from the Ni family came. Now, Wu Yenyun panicked. Did they really not want her anymore? Had they truly given up on her? But what right did they have to give her up? They had abandoned her once before when they were children, were they going to do it again? Wu Yenyun bit her teeth tightly, her face full of resentment. In the evening, the Wu family parents returned with Wu Dalong, Wu Erlong, and Wu Xiaolong. Whose house did you go to today? The Wu family were outsiders in Beijing and had few relatives, but today her parents and 3 brothers were not home. Wu Dalong said, Big sister, you won't be happy if I tell you. Did you go to Ni Yang's house? Wu Yenyun asked. Wu Dalong was about to speak when Wu Erlong tiptoed and covered Wu Dalong's mouth. A sneer appeared at the corners of Wu Yenyun's mouth. She wasn't a fool. Why didn't you tell me about going to Ni Yang's house? Why? Wu Erlong sighed, Big sister, we didn't mean to keep it from you on purpose, we were afraid you'd get angry. Considering the current situation, if they had told Wu Yenyun, she would probably make a scene again. Who wants to be scolded and pointed at during the New Year's celebration? It would be like asking for trouble. So the parents of the Wu family didn't tell Wu Yenyun. Is it because I'm not your real sister? that you hide things from me? Wu Yenyun, her eyes slightly red, questioned Wu Dalong and Wu Erlong. Wu Dalong and Wu Erlong were startled. It's not like that, big sister, it's not. Wu Yenyun picked up a cup and threw it on the floor. Do you even consider me a member of this family anymore? The glass cup shattered to pieces, and the Wu couple, who were bathing Wu Xiaolong in the bathroom, came out, asking with bewilderment, what's going on? Wu Yenyun looked at the Wu couple. Didn't I say we're through with the Ni family? Why did you go to their house behind my back today? Just because I'm not your biological child, you can disregard my feelings like that? Is that it? Wu Yenyun felt too miserable. She couldn't understand why her family would make her suffer like this during the New Year's celebration. Why? Yan Erju explained, it's not like that, Xiaoyun, we didn't mean to hide it from you on purpose, intentionally. You did it on purpose. Wu Yenyun cried and ran into her room, slamming the door shut. Bang! Wu Dalong and Wu Erlong jumped in fright. Wu Jinshu sighed, this child's temper is really getting bigger and bigger. Lately, Wu Yenyun hadn't spared them from her outbursts. Having heard her cold-hearted words so many times, the Wu couple had grown accustomed to them. At this point, they felt powerless about Wu Yenyun. They couldn't beat or scold her, even if they said one harsh word. Wu Yenyun would take it as a slight because she wasn't their biological child. Yan Erju helplessly shook her head, let it go, she's already 18 this year. Speaking to her won't help, and she'll just get angry if we say too much. What a hassle it is during the new year. Before long, it was the 8th day of the first lunar month. The 8th day is considered an auspicious day, so many organizations and factories choose to start work on this day. Meanwhile, ever since Zuoling was laid off, he hadn't found a suitable job. At this time, Chen Leibao's father stepped forward and offered to help Zuoling get a job in his factory, but there was a condition: Zuoling must marry Chen Leibao. Naturally, Zuoling was unwilling. Who would want to marry a pigsy walking through the door? It wasn't until after the Lantern Festival that Zuoling, still jobless and swayed by the lure of wealth, finally nodded in agreement to marry Chen Leibao. Seeing their son finally come to his senses, Zuoling's parents were overjoyed and immediately started preparing for the wedding. Both sets of parents agreed on a wedding date set for the 21st of the first lunar month. Zuoling's parents thought they could finally look forward to a happy life filled with children and grandchildren, but to their surprise, on the third day after the wedding, Chen Leibao changed completely. She not only ordered Zuoling's parents around but also turned Zuoling into a live-in son-in-law. She openly declared her intention to have Zuoling continue the Chen family lineage. Zuoling's parents were taken aback. They didn't dare say much, knowing Zuoling's livelihood was still in their hands. Chen Leibao's personality had changed too. How much she used to love Zuoling, whatever he wanted, she would give. And now? Now she would slap Zuoling at the slightest provocation, and if Zuoling dared talk about divorce, another slap would follow until he submitted. And unfortunately, Zuoling was no match for Chen Leibao. Moreover, when Chen Leibao lost her temper, she wouldn't spare even Zuoling's parents. Wang Lisha's home was in Heng City, and the specialty was silk. The packets contained real silk scarves. Holding the silk scarf that Wang Lisha had gifted her, Ni Yang felt almost as if she were floating on air. She felt like she was dreaming. Just then, Wang Lisha continued, Ni Yang, I just heard you say that you know someone from the Ice Smooth Jade Skin internal team, right? Ni Yang nodded, yes. Wang Lisha grabbed Ni Yang's hand. Ni Yang, I was wrong before, and I know it. I've apologized to Huilan too. Let's make peace from now on. Could you also help me get a box of the limited edition Ice Smooth Jade Skin? If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know to report so we can fix it as soon as possible. Ni Yang, this silly cat really was dumb, tormented by Duo every day, but now that Duo was in danger, it eagerly rushed over to save him. It seemed that cross-species friendships existed too. Ni Yang released Duo, alright, you guys go play. No sooner had Duo gained his freedom than he pecked at Depang. Friendships can capsize in an instant, and Depang immediately flashed his claws, as if he'd wipe out Duo's entire lineage. After playing with the silly cat Depang for a while, Duo was nowhere to be seen. The lively streets of Beijing. Duo perched on the shoulder of a refined man in casual clothes. Little jerk, where are we going? We're going to eat, Du Qingfeng answered. Little jerk, I'm hungry. Duo pecked at the fine hairs near Du Chengfeng's ear. Hungry. Hungry. You're so annoying, Du Qingfeng said, twirling his Buddha beads. You're the annoying one, your whole family is annoying. Duo got ruffled. Du Qingfeng remained calm. In this world, you're probably the only bird that dares to talk to me like this. He could never have dreamed that he'd indulge a bird this way. Duo cheekily said, because I'm your little ancestor. Du Qingfeng, little jerk, your little ancestor is hungry. Speak properly, Du Qingfeng commanded, his expression unchanging yet with a stern look in his eyes. If it had been before, Duo would have trembled with fear, but not anymore. Du Qingfeng, your little ancestor is hungry. Du Qingfeng, seeing that Du Qingfeng had no intention of grabbing the bird food, Duo coquettishly rubbed against his chin. Finally, Du Qingfeng took out fine quality bird food from his pouch. Delicious. Wu Yenyun spotted Du Qingfeng from a distance. But due to their previous encounters, she couldn't muster the courage to greet him. Looking at Duo on Du Chengfeng's shoulder, then at herself, Wu Yanyun's lips curled into a mocking smile. Had she really fallen so low that she was now inferior to a pet kept by Ni Yang? How ironic. Ni Yang was shameless, using a pet to flirt with Du Qingfeng. Just then, a dark shadow flew towards Wu Yenyun, an excited voice shouting, Yenyun! Yenyun! Previously, Wu Yenyun had visited the Ni family many times, and when at their place, she had fed Duo, who was quite gluttonous. Thinking of coming over to greet her and surely being fed something delicious, Duo thought Wu Yenyun would be overjoyed. Wu Yenyun was initially startled, noticed Du Qingfeng nearby, and then smiled and greeted Duo, hello Duo. Hello Yenyun. If there was one thing Duo was good at, it was mimicking quickly. Wu Yenyun continued, Duo, my home has delicious food, visit sometime if you're free. Duo didn't catch anything else but the mention of delicious food, and got terribly excited. Delicious. Delicious. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc. After the motorcycle ride, someone suggested they go get a drink. Wei Haoguang was in a good mood today. Everyone enjoy your food and drinks to the fullest, the treat is on me today. Everyone immediately cheered, big bro is mighty. Sister-in-law is mighty. Wu Yenyun liked the feeling of being surrounded, but she still had a clear mind. Faced with the glasses of alcohol handed to her, she declined them all. Sorry, I don't drink alcohol. She was still a student, she couldn't drink. Wei Haoguang said with a smile, your sister-in-law can't drink, so he'll drink on her behalf. With all the commotion, it got late. When Wei Haoguang dropped Wu Yenyun at the Wu family's home, it was already past 8 o'clock. As soon as Wu Yenyun entered the house, Yan Erju said, "Yenyun, you're finally back. If you hadn't come back, your dad and I were going to call the police." Wu Jinshu said, "Yenyun, where have you been? You made your mom and me worry so long." Worry? Did they genuinely worry about a daughter who had no blood relation to them? They can secretly meet with Ni Yang, but she's not allowed to go out and have fun? Is that fair? Wu Yenyun put away the sarcastic look in her eyes. "I was studying at a classmate's house. This will happen often in the future, so Mom and Dad, you don't need to worry about me." Hearing this, Yan Erju and Wu Jinshu sighed in relief. "Xiaoyun, although studying is important, safety is more so. It's already 8 o'clock, and it's not safe for a girl to be out. By the way, where does your classmate live? In the future, let your dad take you there." Wu Jinshu nodded. Right, your mother is right." Did they truly worry about her safety? Or were they just looking for an excuse to keep an eye on her? So, she didn't even have this much freedom? Wu Yenyun continued, "No need, my classmate has a bicycle. She just rode me back on her bike, it's very safe." "What is your classmate's name?" Yan Erju asked with some concern. Suddenly, Wu Yenyun felt a wave of irritation. They had to control everything. Everything. At the Ni family, Ni Yang did whatever she wanted and nobody ever bothered her. But what about her? She was being watched by everyone. Was she a prisoner? Or in their eyes, would she never measure up to Ni Yang? Everything Ni Yang did was right. Everything she did was wrong. Suppressing her frustration, Wu Yenyun said, "Her name is Wang Fang, she lives on Bikrai Road. I'm going to my room to read now." "Yenyun, aren't you going to eat? We've left some food for you on the table." Yan Erju continued. "I've already eaten at Wang Fang's house." "You child, how can you just eat at someone else's home? You're not allowed to do that in the future, Mom." Wu Yenyun turned to look at Yan Erju, cutting off her unfinished words. "What?" Yan Erju paused. Wu Yenyun went on, "Wang Fang's family isn't as stingy as you imagine. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc.